All right. Stacking all the fatty off the WACK and swinging my way. And never played a sport, but I did. Mwah. Love you, baby. Never played a sport, but I did numbers on the highway. Baby, won't you come my way? Got some things I want to say. Can I give it on my way? But first off, I want to start by saying this. That's how you feel it. You can take my bitch. Fetty Wap was fire until he just fell off. Let me see.
Is he still in jail?
Yep, that nigga in the feds. He's Fetty Wap. See what I did there? All right. Chat, what's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? Who in here, man? Who in here? Who in here? Who in here? Who is in here? In here. All right. For those of y'all who weren't watching earlier, we was doing this documentary on the East Coast Crips, man. We got snitching. We got illegal substance trafficking. We got powers. We got homie on homie crime, and the nigga who pimped out his underage granddaughter. Crazy. The nigga who the underage granddaughter barnacles. So I'm waiting for y'all to kind of come in, man. If y'all in here, we can get started. I don't know if y'all in here. Chat, let me know what they do. If you in here, you feel me? We can get cracking. I ain't really sure if y'all in here though. Slow motion. We can say all the time. This nigga said grand closing. Nigga, all right, so I know we're live. Shout out to the mods in the chat. Spider is wild. Draco, what's going on with Spider? Something I need to know about Draco? Shout out to Draco, know the truth. One of my favorite people in the chat. Draco, something going on we need to know about, bro? And if y'all ain't did so recently, I implore everybody to smoke a blunt and watch King of the Hill. Did y'all see Adam had that little comment for Brick? I'm agreeing with Jason Marshall when I say it's all for the Kantiana. All for the Kantiana. Buzz down, Kantiana. I want to see you buzz down. They buzz down for the Kantiana. All right, let me see. So we stopped it at, let me see. So we stopped it right at 3:31. Let's take it back about 5 minutes. This nigga I overstand. I'm done. I think I'm gonna give y'all this, maybe one or two more. I'm gonna smoke a blunt and go to sleep. I'm tired, man. I had some jiu-jitsu today. I got a competition this weekend. Gotta get some rest in. But y'all type of is that the dragon fruit tea? That's the dragon fruit tea. Take it off mute. Which one? That's a dragon. That's a dragon fruit tea.
Yeah, I pick my finger up to press the damn button. It's a refresher, not a tea. But yeah.
It's a dragon fruit though.
Mango dragon.
That shit fire. But it's the dragon fruit. It's a refresher. It's not the dragon. It's not a tea, nigga. It's the dragon fruit tea. That's what a relationship looks like. A real relationship right there. It's the dragon fruit, but it's not tea. It's a refresher. What difference do it make? She knew what I meant. And that's the thing about it. You knew what I meant. But it's not tea. It's a refresher. That makes it different. Beverages are for sure hard. That's the intro. And that's what it's like when you got a woman that go to Starbucks in your life. You got to know the difference between your refreshers and your teas. We finna slide over here to this Kantiana, man. We back to the East Coast Crips. We finna jump into this Kantiana. It's finna be a good one. Let's get into it. Let's Gizzo.
Intelligence that day. They was operating on a whole nother situation that didn't involve Too Cool, but Doc still gave the word out that Too Cool was a rat after this situation. And at this point, once the feds realized Too Cool was compromised, they told him to step back because they didn't want him killed over here in the coast. But at this time, after he's done working with the feds, Too Cool goes down for pimping his granddaughter, a minor at the time. And mind you, he was still on federal probation from being a snitch in that F-13 case. But this is what I meant when I said this is probably the nastiest person we gonna touch on this channel. Pimping his granddaughter.
Selling your granddaughter, that's a different level of diabolical. Like I said in the last video, this nigga is a supervillain.
Underage granddaughter. And at this time, the jailhouse diagnoses this dude with depressive disorder, psychotic symptoms, antisocial personality disorder, and hallucinations. But I think all that was a play.
Oh, he in there playing crazy.
Because while he was sitting down, he still was calling the feds, acting like he was a member of the team. He called his federal handlers and asked them if they can put an extra TV remote in the pod because they only had two. Too Cool is crazy, man. This dude right here is the nasty.
Like I said in the last video, snitching and then calling your federal handler for sure. And then calling your federal handlers to make sure you got an extra remote while you in jail for the TV. Yes, a TV remote, the channel changer. This nigga has no boundaries, bro. This nigga has no boundaries at all, bro. Like, nigga, you are in jail. How you calling us asking for a goddamn TV changer?
His homeboy snitch anything.
Draco, yes, they are.
Hey, man. Too Cool is a piece of work. But he was sentenced to 5 years for pimping his granddaughter. And when he got out for that case, the feds picked him up for the federal parole violation.
The feds picked him up because he's a piece of shit, bro. Pimping your granddaughter, you're a different level of low. Nigga, like I said, get this nigga off the streets. Somebody else said in the chat, get that nigga out the universe. On God, get that nigga out the whole universe, bro. Like, let's take this nigga out the whole just equation. Somebody send this nigga somewhere else. Man, but here's the thing about it. He's a dangerous individual because he'll unalive you. He'll unalive you. He'll tell on you. He'll pimp his granddaughter. He'll unalive one of his homies. And he'll call the feds from jail to get a TV changer. This is the most dangerous individual walking the streets. There's nothing you could do unless you're going to pow him. But if you pow him, this is the same nigga that can call the feds and get a TV remote in jail. So do you want to pow that type of level of informant? There's no way to deal with this nigga without throwing your life away. He's unbeatable, bro, because he has no standards and no boundaries.
Due to that case. Now, the key thing is what we see in the trial, the defense, of course, wants to tell the jury, hey, this guy's nasty. He's pimping his granddaughter. He's a dirty character, because they want the jury to find him to be an incredible witness. But the judge is not allowing
I didn't want them to see. I have to make sure. I had to look to make sure they couldn't see.
his defense team to bring those specific facts out.
Specific words of heart.
They wanted to be a fair trial, so they only let the defense say that he was convicted of human trafficking of a minor. But since he was picked up for that federal violation, when he got out, this is when he decided to cooperate on Doc Thone. Now, mind you, Doc was already in the right for calling this dude a snitch in 2015. Here we are in 2020, and now he's actually snitching on Doc. And prior to this, he already had a green light from the Florida NCIS and from East Coast. Now, before the situation, he did give the feds Doc's phone number, but he didn't talk about the 2003 murder at all with Doc, because in his words, when he seen Doc in the county in 2004 for that murder, he thought that situation was done. He thought there was nothing he could say, but in this new RICO trial, he told the jury what Doc told him about how he beat that murder. And of course, like many other confidential witnesses, he was getting paid by the feds. When he asked for them TV remotes for the tier, they also put some money on his books. And it said up until the point where he testified in this RICO, he had made about $3,200 off of the feds, and they was paying for his living situation since he had to move around because of his green lights. And his total so far added up to about $14,000 that he received in meals, housing, and cash from the feds. Now, it was said that he did multiple rehearsals with the feds in order to testify against Doc. And I'm going to tell you, when looking at the trial, this dude was very comfortable And like I said, he was probably the worst witness to have on this case because he was willing to just tell it all, even though he still got 2 sons from East Coast. Now, I don't know their standings, but
I mean, but shit, it's, he pimped out one of his son's daughters. So like shit, he don't care about nothing. Like this nigga's like Dr. Eggman from Sonic. No, even Dr. Eggman from Sonic had a chance to kill Tails, and he was like, "No, we're not gonna do that. We don't do that." So even like Dr. Eggman from Sonic had a boundary. This nigga ain't got no boundaries. Somebody's got to knock the rings out of this nigga. Shit, you feel me?
Too Cool is the biggest rat we may ever speak on Rap News Street Politics. Now, before Doc went down for the guns and ammunition in 2016, a situation transpired with the 7-4 Hoovers that this indictment alleged Doc was involved in, and that's the early morning murder of Reginald Brown, aka Red from 7-4 Hoover.
So I'm sitting there doing all of this satanic shit, and I'm putting curses on Swans and Hoovers and Broadways, and I'm doing this curses and shit. I'm up here doing all this shit.
You niggas brought Satan into this? Okay, boundaries.
And the homies, we on the streets in my mother's garage in the back. I mean, her shack. She had a patio. She let me turn the patio into a shack.
Now, on the morning of November 13, 2014, Reginald Brown is washing his car on 83rd and Broadway. His wife was in the house, and a lady named Vilma Guzman was walking her daughter to the store at about 8 o'clock in the morning. At this point, it said that a white Escalade pulls up with covers on the license plates and stops just past Red's house. It said that somebody who's kind of chubby with curly hair jumps out of the Escalade with an AK-47, and they end up letting off on Red 7 times, hitting him 4 times in the front, 3 times in the back with the K, and killing him over here on 83rd. Now, like I said, his wife was inside the house and said the shots were so loud it sounded like they was inside the crib. She runs outside and says Red died in her arms at 8:30 in the morning, November 2014. Now, Velma says she saw.
God bless that man and God bless that woman that had to see that. That's God bless him. God bless him. God bless him.
The Escalade creeping up the block. She says she saw somebody get outside the passenger seat and exchange a few words with Red before letting off. She said the guy had a younger build, and of course she couldn't see the license plates. And with the curly hair, we know that's not Doc. But even if it was a wig, she said nothing about a funny walk or a funny run from Doc. So the shooter wasn't Doc. But like Too Cool said, Doc always got them young niggas around him. And I quote, he said, "You gotta be ready to kill some Hoovers and some Swans if you rolling with Doc." Now, of course, the Ring camera did catch some of this situation, but it didn't catch the actual shooter. It only saw the car rolling by, and it saw when Red got hit by them bullets. So it's truly a partial video. Now, randomly, a week later, the main detective on this case received 2 tips. One from the sheriffs, somehow implicating Doc as a suspect, and one from an anonymous weed tip saying Doc's name as well. Now, at this point, they ended up getting a low for Doc and figured out that he had a 2003 white Escalade that was registered to his name, and they seen it parked behind his crib on 65th. Now, even though he had an Escalade, that doesn't mean he's a part of the murder. Another key thing is that Vilma, when she made her statement, she doesn't speak English, so she gave her statement in Spanish. And she said the Escalade was either white or a beige, clearish color. The funny thing is, on the tape, another beige Cadillac Escalade had rolled through as well. But of course, based on trajectory and timing of the situation, they honed in on this white Escalade. But even still, that didn't fully implicate Doc in this situation. And that's when the case started to slow down in 2015. So 9 months after this, on July 24th, 2015, LAPD gang detectives is rolling through the 6-pack, and they ended up turning on 62nd and Broadway, where they see 5 dudes from East Coast whooping somebody ass in the street. He said them people got into their car and ended up rolling up to 65th and Broadway. At this point, the detectives blurped them and took everybody down. Now, it said that people got out the car, was scrambling and trying to run. So they brought in extra detectives to kind of canvass the scene. At this point, they located a Sienna minivan and flashed a flashlight in it and ended up seeing an AK-47 in the back of this minivan. Of course, they told him
chopping the Sienna. Y'all was finna have a hell of a soccer practice, huh? Sienna? Nigga, that's a goodness gracious.
Minivan off 65th, and they ended up finding out that Lil Doc Thone is the one that rented this minivan. Now, when they seized the AK-47, of course, it wasn't in the suspect vehicle that was used in Red's murder. And there's a protocol with LAPD where, for some reason, they do ballistic testing immediately on handguns, but they don't do it immediately on rifles. So in 2015, they have this AK-47 in Doc's rented minivan, and nothing's done about it. But when Doc goes down in 2016 for them firearm charges, he's on the phone talking about this AK-47.
Man, talking about your crime. If y'all don't get nothing from watching all these RICO's, kids, stop talking about your, first of all, don't do crime. But if you're going to do crime, stop talking about your crimes on the phone, kids. Let's stop talking about all crimes on the phone. Like, that just needs to just overall just cease and desist.
And this is when they brought in an MDC intelligence officer, Steve Gagliardi. This is the same dude right now who is listening to Brick Baby calls, listening to Luce Cannon calls, and Big U calls, if there's any.
Hey, Steve.
We know Brick and Luce be on these phones. I don't know what they're talking about, but this intelligence officer is the one that receives a subpoena to pull these phone calls from MDC in these federal prisoners. Now, oddly enough, he says the MDC keeps these records for about 180 days, but they're pulled, again, off subpoenas. And on these phone calls, Doc expressed that he was worried about these dudes finding that AK. And these are the same phone calls that he had with Ace and Tiny Bugsy in regards to Tuku being a snitch at this time. But nonetheless, Doc goes in and out of federal prison without LAPD homicide detectives linking this AK-47.
So it seemed like that's the same thing that happened with Brick. It seemed like they're going to let you walk on this gun just until all the other stuff get out the way. And then when all the other stuff is out the way, boom, they're going to put you on this gun situation. Because that's the same thing that they say got going, that Brick Baby has going on right now. So it just seemed like that's how they play with these situations.
To this murder. Now in 2017, Tony Wallace is interviewed. This is Doc's nephew, and oddly enough, he stayed in the back house behind Red. Now it's said that Tony Wallace is from Nutty Block, not from the coast. And initially, they was looking at him as a suspect, but the gun still hadn't been tested in 2017. It didn't get a ballistics test done until 2018. And even then, the lead detective at the time still didn't know about the murder. It wasn't until it hit the cold case file desk that a new detective picked it up and seen that the bullets from Red's murder matched this AK-47. And this is when Doc...
You can have a little bit of water. Give Harper a little bit of water. Just a little, though.
Doc is questioned in 2020, and they built this whole RICO case.
Yeah, y'all start brushing your teeth and washing your face and get ready for bed.
Now, some crazy shit, man. They said Doc made some statements about this AK, man. When they asked him how I got in the minivan, Doc said Infant Hood had threw it in the back of the minivan around that situation where them dudes from the coast had went down by the minivan on 65th. And it said that Doc identified a photo of Infant Hood. Damn. And the crazy thing is, fingerprint evidence of the hatchback on the minivan did have Infant Hood's fingerprints on it. And Doc said Infant Hood had slid it into the minivan and made Doc aware.
Huh? Brook and in the morning. Brook and yeah, I got you. You can watch Brook and Jubal. You can listen to Brook and Jubal. I know nobody else can understand what he's saying, but I understand him perfectly. Like people are like, what he say? He wants to when he wakes up in the morning, he wants to listen to Brook and Jubal. That's what he wants to listen to. Brook and Jubal in the morning. That's what he wants to listen to.
That it was hot. He told the feds that Infant Hood told him that he was putting in work with
Right, now go to sleep like the twins. Yeah, I mean, what's the deal?
the K due to his sister being shot at some point. But the key thing is, in this interview, it said that Doc bought up this AK by himself. He didn't let detectives bring it up. He bought it up after they showed Doc a picture of Reginald Brown and his nephew, Tony Wallace. It seemed like he tried to jump ahead of the interview and jump the gun on some facts. When they showed him the picture of those two individuals,
Love you. Good night, Papa.
Good. Go sleep in your room.
Yeah, take her out. Let her pee first.
he replied, "I know where you're going with this." And then he said his lawyer had told him an AK was used in the murder of Red. But detectives alleged that at that time, when he was in federal custody, nobody knew anything about the AK-47 and the murder being correlated. But if those statements weren't enough for Doc, we got the next confidential witness from 6 Deuce East Coast Crip, Ashanti Harrison, aka Devil. Now this is another older dude, younger than Doc, but still an older dude from East Coast who was put on in 96. And at the time of his testimony, he was also facing a federal charge, possession of firearm.
You at work? Take it off mute. You at work?
Huh?
Say you at work?
Yep.
All right, call me on your break.
Okay.
All right, love
I
you.
don't have to go.
Like,
Good night.
when you're sleeping, I'm gonna come to your bed.
Okay.
Well, let this come to your bed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I love you, little buddy.
Love you.
Let's say good night to Dejanay.
Good night, DJ.
Good night.
Good night.
Say good night, chat.
Good night, Ja.
All right. Good night. Love you. All right. I'll text you done. Just call me when you finish. All right. Love you. Bye. My bad, Joe. I had to put my house to sleep. Let's get back into it.
And had prior convictions of possession of cocaine. Like I said, all these dudes career criminals, and they've already been through the federal system, seasoned vets, taking the stand. Now, Devil goes far back as well, just like Too Cool, where he was also in the county in 2004 when Doc was fighting the murder of Ray Dog, and said that Doc also told him that he committed the murder of Ray Dog and he had to set an example. Now, Devil also stayed on 65th and had a good relationship with Doc, but he started to cooperate in 2019 when he went down for this federal gun charge for a firearm. Now, he caught that case in 2016. It was supposed to be a state case, but the feds ended up picking it up, and he went on the run for 3 years and didn't get caught until 2019. He had a fake face and everything, but when he went down in 2019, he started cooperating and telling on every
You say he had a fake face?
charge for a firearm. Now, he caught that case in 2016. It was supposed to be a state case, but the feds ended up picking it up, and he went on the run for 3 years and didn't get caught until 2019. He had a fake face and everything. But
Where the hell do you get a fake face from? Like what? Like what? Is that a mask, nigga? Like, is a fake face a mask?
when he went down in 2019, he started cooperating and telling on everybody. He
What Jason Marshall said.
even told on the DMV people that hooked him up with the face. This is why everybody got to go get their faces from MacArthur Park. People
You're like, nigga, where the hell you get a fake face from? Like, a lot of things. Look, we got this nigga pimping his granddaughter. We got this nigga unaliving his homie, and then knocking some more ninjas down, and then snitching, and then a fake face, a fake social security. Okay, like a fake social security card. I'm thinking, I'm high. I'm thinking the niggas walk around with like a face. Like, what the fuck you get a fake face for? A profile. Okay, a profile. That nigga said a fake face. I'm high. I'm thinking a mask. This is a hell of a mask. Where do you get these masks from? I'm trying to mask up and fake face and go see about some shit. Profile. Got it. Faces are hard.
started cooperating and telling on everybody. He even told on the DMV people that hooked him up with the face. This is
Okay. Got it. I'm high. Boy, I thought this nigga was walking around with a mask that was worth 1,000 faces. Don't worry about it.
why everybody got to go
On some Hollow Man shit, I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, I thought this nigga was a master of disguise.
Go get their faces from MacArthur Park. People like him. Now, the cold part is he was dating a female who was also from East Coast, and her brother is Lil Rand or Lil Ranster, aka Daryl Hooks from the coast. And his girl in
he said fake face so casually. I'm like, what's this fucking fake face? Where the hell did you get? The hell is going on
ended
here?
up calling the feds on him, telling them where he was at when he was on the run, and is the sole reason why he went down, and pretty much is the catalyst for why he's even on the stand testifying against Lil Doc. Now, when he got caught, they put him right in the car with this homicide detective, and they hit him with the, you know how the game goes. You can help us out, and you can be in the cut. This is when he proceeded to tell detectives about who was running the six-pack, where he mentioned Lil Snake, Roscoe, and he also mentioned other OGs like Doc, Limes, Lie, Bone, Reedy, other dudes that he said was running programs in the coast. And these homicide detectives wanted to know.
Like in the 80s, all the OGs share names. Every hood got a nigga named Bone. Every hood got a nigga named Bone.
What he knew about the murder of Red. So the crazy thing is, Red was a neighborhood mechanic, and Devil used to get his car fixed by Red. Even though Red was from Hoover, he was an older dude. Devil said they weren't aggressive towards each other. It was just business. And he had no problem dealing with Red. Now, he said on the morning that Red was killed, Doc pulled up with some little homies in his Escalade and caught Devil outside on 65th and told him to watch out because Red from Hoover just got dropped. Now, he didn't say he just dropped Red, the homies just dropped Red, but Devil testified that Doc hit the block that morning, letting people know it's hot outside. Now, this is somebody that flipped out of nowhere. This is somebody that said he's scared in trial. He had to move out the way. And during trial, Lil Rand's sister leaked his address as well. So this is another dude with the green light. He said he only had one bad bump in with Doc, where it was kind of like a situation where they both had their hand on their pistol in the argument. He said he was scared of Doc, but he also said he would administer DPs on Doc's word. And he also played a Luce Cannon role when he went to the weed shop that Doc was extorting, and he tried to go in there and shake him down without Doc. They told him, get out of here, bring Doc back, and we'll give you whatever you want. And this is where he started to become jealous of Doc, because he felt that he shouldn't have to come back with Doc to get what he wanted if Doc was able to get what he wanted. Now, when he first met with LAPD, he implicated somebody else from the coast that he wasn't getting along with in the murder of Red because of their disdain towards the Hoovers.
We ended up getting into it with him a lot, so we started having gunplay.
But in trial, not only did he try to implicate Doc in the murder of Red, but he also tried to implicate him in some murders that he had nothing to do with. And he said he's giving them pistols, weed, and money at different points in time, and he just wanted to cooperate for a lesser sentence in this gun trial. He even tried to cover his face with a mask, and they made him take his mask off. But it did come out that Doc had told somebody that Red had previously told Doc to turn his music down when he was in front of his house. And that probably led to some gangbanging shit, which resulted in Red losing his life. But another thing that the feds used, oddly enough, was Kev Max.
Hey, real quick, what is it? Verdi, that ish go. Hey, you said something in my chat, bro. And I ain't on you, but I'm on you, bro. You said something. It was something about black and browns. But you made it unnecessarily racial in the defense of Mexicans, and we weren't even talking about that. I can't remember what it was. I should have screenshotted it. If you a G, you would tell me what you said, and we can just take our fade real quick, and then we can be back to being homies. But we got to go ahead and take that in the back, though. You got to fade.
Interviews to prove some of Doc's statements and to show the courtroom exactly how Doc walked, to go along with some of the testimonies that was heard on the stand. They said that he liked to brag and boast in these interviews about his power, about his big homie and his namesake operating on people, which is why they call him Doc, and about him having control over the coast.
That's a hood name. They call me Doc because I get to operate on you niggas. That right there. That's diabolical. That nigga say my name is Doc because I get to operate on you niggas. Barnacles.
Coast. And they also watched him speak freely about violence. And the thing is, this is not just for Kev Mac channel, not just for Street TV, not just for No Jumper. The feds don't care about the platform. The special agent that pulled all of the YouTube videos off of Kev Mac channel said he don't even know who Kev Mac is. He had no interest in contacting Kev Mac, and he had no interest in figuring out how and if the videos on his channel were even edited. And how AI is nowadays, all these videos could be edited, but the feds didn't care about that. All they cared about was they heard and seen Doc talking and heard what he said and used it against him, and had no contact with Kev Mac. So everybody gotta be careful what they talking about and how they talking on any of these platforms. You know, it's one thing to ask some leading questions and publish it, but it's a whole nother thing to answer these questions and let it come out your mouth that you committing crimes. Because the feds is for sure watching, and they don't need to subpoena anybody to play these tapes back in court. Now, not only did Doc have the little homies around him, he also had the flockers around him as well. So they had another confidential witness from East Coast in this case named Gary Henry, aka G or G Thing from 6 Deuce East Coast. He seemingly was mad at Doc because he felt like Doc broke the rules. And that's pertaining to Doc's cousin, Stormin' Norman Speck.
What we did though, we stayed there for years, for about 5 years, held our block down, fighting the Swans. A lot of us went to YA, a lot of us went to P1MP3D that was older. Devil, 74 Hoover, his brother Stinker Blue, my cousin Stormin' Norman.
Gary and Norman is partners in crime, professional bank robbers who were a part of the Palm Tree Bandits, a robbery crew that was popping in the city between November 2015 and 2016. And as you can see, construction vests and construction hats were a part of their MO. And it said that they got the name
Stormin' Norman is a cool name.
the Palm Tree Bandits because they had crashed into a palm tree after one of the robberies. Now, at this time that he testified, G-Thang was in custody for a bank robbery. But him and Stormin' Norman have bank robberies that date
Stormin' Norman's a pretty cool name. I'm just saying.
all the way back to about 2001. But when they got out from their first bank robbery, this is when Norman introduced Gary to Doc around 2006. Now, Stormin' Norman was also from 6'9 East Coast, and he stayed in the same crib as Doc, or at least they shared a yard together, but he also stayed on 65th. But the key thing is, Gary and Doc got a little bit closer in 2016 when they was in MDC together. They was actually cellies in MDC. He said Doc was running the floor and of course was administering punishment to anybody that broke the rules. He said at one point, Doc ordered him to do a DP on somebody that was snitching. Gary said he carried the
The irony. The fucking irony.
DP out how it was supposed to be done, and Doc replied, "I told you so." But the line seemingly got blurred because at this time, Gary, Stormin' Norman, and their co-defendants, Michael Spencer, aka Short Dog, Orlando Soto, aka Infant, and Edgar Santos and Daniel Ochoa were down for armed bank robbery and possession, use, carry, and brandishing a firearm in furtherance of and during and in relation to a crime of violence, as well as aiding and abetting. A multi-count indictment that alleged multiple bank robberies throughout LA County. Now at this
thing about that, at that point, it don't matter if you did or if you didn't do it. Your ass gonna be charged with some of them robberies. They could put you in around the same time. Yeah, your ass gonna catch some robberies too. It don't matter if you did, it don't matter if you did. It don't matter if you did, it don't matter if you didn't. They gonna catch you for what they know they can catch you with, and everything outside of that, you're gonna be charged with that too.
This time, G-Thang went to meet his lawyer. This was after he served his DP that Doc ordered. Went to meet his lawyer. His lawyer gave him paperwork on Norman Stormin, Doc's cousin. He said Norman Stormin is cooperating. So G-Thang mixes Norman's paperwork up with his and takes it back to his cell. Now this is pivotal right here because like I said, there's only a couple ways People gonna know who's snitching in their case when they already down. This is why we have to wait and see what Brick Baby and Luce Cannon and these dudes is doing, because ain't no paperwork being produced. It's just a bunch of allegations, and that's bunk. But Gary Henry was making no allegations. He bought the paperwork straight to Doc and said, Doc, your cousin's snitching on these bank robberies. Doc said it's a no-go. Storm and Norman can't be touched. And this is where G-Thang was lost in the sauce. He felt Doc was breaking the rules and playing favoritism. As
Of course he's breaking the rules and playing favoritism. Storming Norman is his cousin. He not finna storm Norm.
sometimes it does go in the hood. Now, the crazy thing is, prior to this situation, Storm and Norman was in state custody. He wasn't even down for these robberies. Where he said he was in state custody and he ran into somebody who went down for a bank robbery that he know they didn't commit. He knew exactly who did commit the bank robbery. And he said enough was enough. And out of the blue, in September 2016, Norman Speck, in custody, calls the FBI. He called the FBI, in his words, just to report the bank robberies because he was tired. He was tired of being part of the robberies, and
Damn, Norman.
he was sick of it. And the crazy thing is, at the same time, Michael Spencer then called the FBI and said he's done. He's snitching. Everything fell apart, man. What y'all got to realize, what a lot of people don't tell you, especially a lot of these street dudes, what they don't tell you is how it really feel on this side of the tracks when you committing crimes and when you doing certain shit. A lot of people don't tell you the nerves that come behind that. When you go put in work, they can't describe to you how you just looking over your shoulder at everything, running that shit back in your head to see if you missed a step. Are they on to me? What did I do? You know, did I do it right? Or like, man, I made a mistake. They got my ass. Because what it sounds like is Storm and Norman and Short Dog knew that the end was near and they tried to jump ahead of it because they knew they made a mistake. Their nerves was eating them up, and not everybody can stay solid. As we see, some people are good at adversity and they keep building on top of adversity. Some people are going to break. That's what we see on every case because people's nerves get to them. Career criminals. Everybody in this case has been in the feds and the state fighting crazy cases. And in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s, they decide to hang it up and start telling. But the crazy thing is, not even 100,000 was made on these bank robberies. It said that Gary Henry is the one that organized the Palm Tree Bandits. He only made off with about 85 racks across about 10 bank robberies. Some of the bank robberies had takes of 2,100, a couple thousand. And this is also why in October, a month after Norman called, Spencer called the FBI talking about he's about to boost the federal agent's whole career off the information that he finna tell him. And you can write a book about it, about these bank robberies. And after he seen that they only made 60 to 80,000, Spencer offered to repay that amount for leniency. But the key thing is, after these robberies, Gary said that on a lot of them, they would go back to 65th to Lil Doc's house, count the money up, and also they would break bread with Lil Doc for being the big homie. And Storm and Norman ended up taking a stand on Gary, so Gary ended up taking a stand on Lil Doc. Now Gary,
You told on me, so I'm gonna tell on him. So he gonna tell on him, so I'm gonna tell on you. This is a domino effect of snitching.
was already sentenced for these bank robberies to 32 years at the time of his testimony, and he signed a Rule 35 agreement for some leniency and to get them 32 years reduced. He said he also has a green light for doing this to Lil Doc and that he's not from East Coast no more. And the crazy thing is, the same prosecutors that prosecuted Lil Doc are the same ones that prosecuted Gary in the bank robberies and why Storm and Norman testified. And at one time, he was very close with Doc. He said Doc House was the hangout spot on 65th, and sometimes Doc would have 2 pistols in his waistband hanging out. This is what I mean by the differences from this
Niggas Yosemite Sam.
East Side and West Side indictment. Doc still gangbanging, 50 years old, outside. But with Doc being cellies with G in MDC, he did speak about this AK in this murder case and the murderer Red with G-Thang. He also told G-Thang that he killed Ray Dog, shooting him in the forehead. And he said Doc also got in front of the day room one time and told everybody that he was a killer, and everybody knew it. But Gary also told the jury that Doc had not only used the AK to shoot Red, but Doc told him that he also used it on some Hoovers and the Hunters and had to shoot that block up over there. And all this because he felt like Norman, as a G homie and as Doc's cousin, Doc turned his back on him, took Norman's side.
Can you, again, all this is behind feelings, y'all. Behind feelings, behind feelings, behind feelings, behind feelings. You made me feel this way, so I'm going to do this. You made me feel that way, so I'm going to do that. Nobody can even tell you what the issue is. Everybody can just tell you how it made them feel. Gotta be careful with these feelings, y'all.
Norman ratted on him, so it was over for Doc. Now, he also talked about stabbings that Doc did. And the key thing that the prosecutors brought up, they opened a statement. They say Doc runs East Coast because he keeps a knife in jail and a gun on the street. And he was also talking about stabbings in these YouTube interviews. And there was a case where he stabbed a dude named Deshaun Lewis in MDC. And not too long after he caught the RICO, he was involved in another stabbing. At 56, 57 years old, he's about to be 60 next year. And he's still not playing. Now, another thing that was alleged in the indictment is the extortion. And one thing that most of these confidential witnesses also snitched about was how they seen Doc extorting Rose Holistic Center off 62nd and Broadway. But not only did they tell, the government called another witness, the owner of the weed shop, Arabed Tonian, who took the stand on Lil Doc. Now, this was a very interesting situation between this weed shop and Doc. Now, we've seen the allegations that Big U had with that rat Dale Morrison and the interactions that Big U and his crimees had in shaking down Dale Morrison's weed shop. There are similarities in both indictments, but the outcome was a little bit different. So it was said that Doc had sent some young dudes into the weed shop on 62nd to shake the place up, and then he stepped in, calmed it down, and made some demands, initially for about a rack a month and some weed. But the crazy thing is, Doc used this situation to actually get a job at the weed shop. Him and his wife was working here on 62nd and Broadway doing an honest shift, 8 hours, working 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. as security. Now, the weed shop owner testified that after he employed Doc and started meeting Doc's demands or whatever, that the store on 62nd wasn't robbed anymore. But of course, like everybody, he said that he was terrified on the stand. He was scared of Doc, but he also said Doc was always friendly with him. They was cool. And when Doc went down on that Fed case in 2016, he had one of his homies, Cartoon, pick up his shift from 5 to 1.
Nigga, having your homie pick up your shift after you get picked up by the feds is crazy.
And splitting $100 a day with Cartoon. So basically, this
They did all that for $50. Goodness gracious.
extortion came from Doc punking this dude out of a job. My thing is, at least he offered to work there. At least he was providing security and trying to make an honest living for a little bit of weed on the side. But of course, the feds paid the weed shop owner a visit, and they used this to prove the extortion leg in this RICO charge. Now, like I said previously, this weed shop was a point of contention between Lil Doc and some dudes from 6 Deuce, because the weed shop was in 6 Deuce hood. So dudes from 6 Deuce felt like they should have first dibs on extorting this weed shop. But I wonder how they feeling now that this RICO is here, because I'm sure they would have went down in it just like Luce Cannon went down with Big U. Now, in the sentencing memorandum, Doc had many people from the community to speak on this good work that he's done as well. People like Skip Townsend, pastors from different churches, and other people pushing peace in the community, really speaking on the role that Doc played in getting that truce between the East Coast and the Florencias. But prosecutors tried to allege that it was really done for business, so both of these hoods can expand on drug trafficking and that Doc can get some money in his hands for that truce. Now, after the truce happened, it was almost common knowledge. Everybody felt like Doc was being attacked because of that reason. But we've laid out exactly what was transpiring with Doc before that truce. And honestly, if them dudes from the 6-pack hadn't got caught beating that dude ass and driving the 65th where they found that AK-47, Doc wouldn't be in this situation. I don't understand why you would still have a gun 9 months after the murder. I know sometimes them pieces be real pretty. You don't want to let it go. But I feel like that's really the only factor that got him hung up in this.
Why do y'all hang on to the murder weapons? Like, bro, let it go.
RICO indictment.
Look at a new Blake.
Because he had already beat the murderer Ray Dog. They weren't going to charge him again on that. And there wasn't any evidence. Now, the prosecutors did offer Doc a deal. Like I said, the evidence on the murder was very thin. So they had a plea agreement set up where he didn't have to take responsibility for the murder, since it's common knowledge that he wasn't the shooter, and they would dismiss count 2, but he still would take the RICO charge and face a maximum of 20 years. But Doc rejected the plea deal because he didn't want to accept anything higher than 12 years in this case. Now, the actual shooter of Reginald Brown has never been uncovered, and Doc, who initially was going to testify in his defense, ended up not taking a stand, probably for good reason. Even though the judge did get on the prosecutors for not having their shit together. They were kind of sloppy in this case, and they weren't organized, man. There was a lot of holes in this case to where Doc could have beat it, and that's what we could see from Big U. There's some holes in his case, especially in that murder. So things really have to remain to be seen on who's gonna snitch, because that's what it's all about. But
what was like picking my tooth? Like
the tooth came out.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to bed.
overall,
And I was like picking my tooth. I was just like, your tooth came out? Yeah, okay. Okay, your tooth came out. I got it. Boys, the teeth came out. It's just, parenting. All right, I got you. Just go to bed, though. Thank you.
the jury did find Doc
It wasn't even a baby. It was a 10-year-old.
guilty on both charges.
How long I've been a parent? Like, I was just like, I picked my tooth. Your tooth came out? Yeah, okay. That's how long I've been a parent. I could just figure your tooth. That's okay. Got you. Come on.
And hit him with 420 months in federal prison. 300 months for the RICO on the first charge and 120 months on the second charge in correlation with that homicide. And he's currently...
That's really what he came in here for. Like, nigga, you owe me some chili. That's really what he came in here for. I need you to know you owe me some money.
in Northern Kentucky right now at USP McCrary with a release date set for September 25th. But we can see that snitching paid off. Gary Henry G-Thang, who was already in prison for 32 years, he had been sentenced and had only been 3 years into his sentence when he snitched on Doc for them bank robberies.
My kids know the tooth fairy don't exist. They just want their money. They don't care about who bring it. They just want their chili. Sinks, come here. Come here, Sinks. Come here.
Got out of prison
Lay down. Lay down.
as soon as he was done taking a stand on Doc in 2022. He got 29 years cut off his sentence for all that telling that he did. And he's at home with his people right now. Norman Speck, who was allegedly the reason that Gary took the stand on Doc, he got out of prison for calling the FBI on them bank robberies. And Devil, Ashanti Harrison, remember, he was down for a possession of firearm charge in the feds. He got out 2 years after he testified in 2024. And after Derek Banks, Too Cool, finished the sentence for pimping on his granddaughter, he did not have to answer to that federal parole violation because he took the stand on Doc. So the only person that's in the feds right now on this RICO is Lil Doc Thone.
That nigga went down by himself. That's crazy.
With 25 years left to go. And that's just crazy to see. But either way, it's free Lil Doc Thone, man. This was a crazy case on the east side.
All right, man. Y'all know the deal. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angel tweets. Free. We gone. Come here, Sinks. Come here. Come here, dog. Sinks, come here. Bro, you want to go home? Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. You're doing too much. All right. And I'm a gang. Bitch, gang. Big dog shit. Trap up in NT and then trap these don't keep back the same, like cracking the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content. We rich trappers. We tapping in, man. I had a long day of content. Y'all see them bags under my eyes, man. I gave y'all 14, 15 pieces. Deal, y'all. Rich trappers up in NT and then trap news network. We back the same, like cracking the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Get news you can use. Technology, though you ain't finna get nobody's college. Big dog, tap in with the tap in to make sure you're in fact tapped in with that good tap in. You feel me? Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe button, everything we deal, y'all. What's the deal, y'all? What's Trapper tapping in TNN Trap News Network? Back in the same, like cracking the same, man. Here at TNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Technology, though you ain't finna get nobody's college. Big dog, hit that like, hit that comment, hit that good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's 5 in the morning and I'm up giving bad news to you. It's 5 o'clock in the morning in LA. It's 8 o'clock in the morning in Atlanta. We up early, giving y'all that good news you can use, giving you that good knowledge that you're not finna get in nobody's college, big dog. It's the news you can use, the knowledge you ain't finna get in nobody's college. We got TNN Trap News Network. We're giving y'all with John Nate early in the morning. Tap in with the tap in, man. RichTrapHouse.com. Get into that. You ain't got into that. New music, all that. Tap in, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired of giving y'all the intro. It's been two years of it. It's time to switch it up. Shout out to Seti Nash. We finna slide over here, man. Big U bond reconsideration is alarming. Shout out to Cedric Nashington. Big shout out to Cedric Nashington as he's sliding around giving us his news to use. Knowledge we ain't finna get in college. Let's get into this. Let's go.
Mo, and the feds basically lay out the reasons why he should not. Man, listen, I'm about to just be fair, square, obvious, and honest. Big U is not looking bad. If y'all want to jump up about 3 to 4 minutes ahead, I think that's as much as I can let you.
This video, I want to give a shout out to Sharice Mills. We give a lot of flack over here in these YouTube streets, but let's never forget. What's the deal, y'all? What's Trapper tapping in TNN Trap? Slide over here, man. Big U bond reconsideration is alarming. Shout out to Cedric Nashington. Big shout out to Cedric Nashington as he's sliding around giving us his news to use. Knowledge we ain't finna get in college. Let's get into this. Let's go.
Mo, and the feds basically lay out the reasons why he should not. Man, listen, I'm about to just be fair, square, obvious, and honest. Big U is not looking bad. If y'all want to jump up about 3 to 4 minutes ahead, I think that's as much as I can let y'all in on what's about to happen. Then y'all can listen to the paperwork yourself and make your own judgments. I'm not saying Big U is guilty of anything. The courts always say innocent until proven guilty. So with that being said, Big U is in a little bit of trouble. He done got on the damn phone, and I think he was being funny. Personally, I think it was just a joke. The government is basically saying, ain't no jokes here. He said that he can have Donald Trump pardon him. What? So Big U basically says, man, I can have Donald Trump pardon me. He's talking about certain things on the phone. But one of the biggest things that happened is that video that he dropped to the internet talking about WACK, Brick, 600, Luce Cannon, all of those things that he said were seen as obstruction and intimidation and all of these things. Now, there is no proof that any one of those 4 individuals are cooperating. They're co-conspirators, or what the courts called opponents, meaning his rivals, meaning ops. So the courts say that WACK and 600 are his ops. They don't say that they're cooperating with him or anything like that. So in the court paperwork you're about to see, Big U literally went to court. I mean, it's going to court tomorrow to prove his point. But his point kind of is dumb in the sense of the government saying, bro, the only reason you turned yourself in is really you had nowhere to go. And you thought by turning yourself in, you could get bond. This is supposed to be a pattern of behavior. But it turns out that he actually would have had a better chance of basically getting that bond had he never dropped that damn video on Instagram. Not only that, they're saying that
the video on Instagram of him saying that WACK and all that kind of wooty bam. Yeah, that's ugly.
Big U has already intimidated witnesses. He knew the night before that the feds were coming to his door, so he was already on the run. He talked to some lawyers. Some lawyers basically gave him the advice to say, turn yourself in, because if you turn yourself in, that looks better to the courts, that you'll be able to come to court and basically your obligation.
Basically, you ain't outside running amok. We can trust you to go to court. We can trust you to be about your due diligence. We can trust you to do what you say you're gonna do and all that kind of stuff. We ain't gotta babysit you.
Now, what they're basically alleging is, of course, these main three things. These are the main, well, not main three things. These are the main things of the government. They're charging him with murder, RW. They're saying that he's an extortionist, but he's not an extortionist. They basically say he lied to these people. So all the athletes that y'all hear or anything like that, in the damn paperwork, it's basically saying he didn't extort them. It's saying he lied to them. He pulled and tugged on their heartstrings like, hey, help a brother out. You know how these cats get on that Dr. Umar shit, in my opinion. So they say, all right, Big U tugged at heartstrings and duped people into giving donations, not extortions. So everything y'all see, from the Rich Homie Quans to the Chris Browns to the Shaqs to the Draymond Greens to all of these individuals, they're not saying that they were extorted. He's saying, well, they're saying, the government is saying Big U lied. Then to top that off, they're saying Big U already knows all of this crap. And Big U already knows what he's done, who he done it to, and he's obstructed. They're saying actually too that the witnesses that they had no longer cooperated. So what they're going to try to do is pin him on the murder of RW and money crimes. Now the extortion victim, 50-50. So we'll see how that goes. But with no further ado, this is Big U's bill response from the feds. And one more thing, bro. I'm not a professional reader, bro. I graduated from a continuation high school, bro.
My nigga said I'm not a professional reader. Don't worry about it, Cedric Nashington. The print be real small and the words is hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm an all right reader, in my opinion. So if I mess up or fumble on words, I'm just not about to redo this crap. I can do it perfectly as far as read this crap, but Sadie Nash ain't doing all that, bro. If I mess up, I mess up. I fix it. So if y'all don't like it, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Find somebody else to do this. And one more thing. Look, I ain't got no hat on. Oh, my God. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Big head Nash on down.
Sadie, you do got a big ass head, bro. I didn't realize you said it. You a big headed motherfucker. I love you, bro. But you a big ass head, nigga. You and ODM Slim got some big ass heads, bro. Y'all Megamind 1 and 2. You got Chrome Dome and Megamind.
Man, this just came out today. So if y'all look at the
ever hit us again with another foghorn leghorn, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my good time, gal. Nigga, we old. If you know that, you old too.
date it's filed, it's 4/21. That means today. I don't want to hear anybody get on here and start dissing me and all this crap. Man, listen, I'm not trying to hear nothing. So the hearing date is scheduled for tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. West Coast time. Plaintiff, United States of America, by and through its counsel of record, the United States Attorney for the Central District of California, and Assistant United States Attorneys Kevin J. Butler and Jenna Maccabee. I'm assuming that's Maccabee, but whatever, or McCabe. But we'll just say Mac. All right. Hereby files its brief in support of detention for defendant Eugene Henley Jr., also known as AKA Big U, AKA Unk, AKA Draws, AKA Hannibal, AKA Hannibal Muhammad, AKA Anybody Killer, AKA Dave Austin. Damn, kid. All right. This brief is based upon the attachment memorandum
Right. Sheesh.
appoints and authorities the files and records in this case in such further evidence and argument as the court may permit, dated April 21st, 2025. All right, so y'all got all this, right? Cool. So we're going to go through the statement of facts, and we'll just go from there. And let's scroll down. For decades, defendant Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U defendant, has put on a public facade, masquerading as a reformed gang member and legitimate businessman whose only ambition was to better his community. But defendant wasn't helping Chris Shaw.
Now, here goes the thing. I'm not saying that Big U is right, but we can't negate the fact that them kids did get a lot out of that situation. Now, I ain't saying they got everything they should have got. I ain't saying that he didn't, blah, blah, blah. I ain't saying none of that. All I am saying is the kids did get some help.
helping himself in the shadows. Defendant was secretly operating as kingpin of a criminal enterprise that has ruled Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Now, he seeks pretrial release under the guise of his reformed persona, even though his criminal activities have included murder, extortion, robbery, wire fraud, bank fraud, and human trafficking. The court should see through defendant's farce and keep him in custody for the safety of the community. To avoid custody, defendant will no doubt continue his double dealing as he did to celebrities and other donors that he duped into believing they were helping young, underprivileged athletes chase their dreams. So think about that part. They say he duped them. So they're not saying extortion. So when people are talking about all the athletes,
So there's no extortion. He finessed. It's a huge difference between extortion and finesse.
and all that crap and everything, understand they're saying that he duped them, meaning he lied to them. So all this, oh, y'all, he extorted Draymond and all these athletes and all that crap. No, they're just saying that he lied to them. Got it? All right, cool. When in reality, they were unwittingly lining defendants' pockets as he embezzled donation after donation. Even in his short time in custody, he is up to his old tricks. Whoa. Once again, trying to use some of the same celebrities for his personal gain. He has even suggested that he can manipulate the president of the United States in intervening in this case and dropping the charges, even as he simultaneously derisively refers to the president as the Orange Man. What? Come on, what the hell? Why in custody this court?
Nigga said I can get Donald Trump to get my shit together. All right.
Should not be fooled by the good deeds defendant promises to accomplish if he could close the detention doors behind him. The truth is that he will undoubtedly cause exponential harm to the case, to the community, and to others if he were released. Defendant should remain detained for the safety of the community, the victims and witnesses. In this case, the defendant's own words, if I would have had a problem with any man, the issue would have been resolved, and he wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be here. And for the hope of some semblance of justice for the families of his victims, indeed, with seemingly just hours of notice of his impending arrest, defendant has already destroyed valuable evidence, attempted to paint false narrative of his criminality in the public, and publicly condemn his enemies by name. He cannot be allowed to continue on his obstructive path. Any supporters defendant may offer as sureties will not protect the community. They did not save RW, whom defendant murdered and abandoned in the desert. They did not save defendant's countless extortion and embezzlement victims, whom defendant terrorized or tricked for years. They did not stop defendant from leaving Los Angeles in the midnight hours before his arrest or hurling Tommy thinly.
So they saying that the people around him can't be trusted. Everybody around him a flu-flam.
Build threats in the lead up to his surrender. The court should have no trouble finding that defendant represents a danger and risk of non-appearance, non-compliance with court orders that cannot be adequately mitigated through release conditions. With the utmost respect to pretrial services, pretrial supervision is not enough. For the sake of the community, defendant should remain in custody. Defendant is a dedicated rolling 60 and leader of his own violent racketeering enterprise. Defendant is an avowed and former member of the Rolling 60 neighborhood Crip Street gang as early as 1992. The Los Angeles Times described defendant as the leader of that gang, and little has changed as defendant has aged. As he states in many interviews, when asked about any gang tattoos, it ain't on you, it's in you. Indeed, defendant's gang ties run deep in his hood. Defendant has loudly recounted the terror he instilled for years. In various interviews, defendant recounts selling narcotics, taking a percentage of all illegal activity in the neighborhood, leading to the body snatchers, kidnapping crew, and eventually going to prison, where he immediately claims to have paid off the guards and taken a percentage of drug sales. Come on, y'all know that's all right. Now, after an investigation spanner,
that's putting devs on a Pinto. But they gonna put devs on a Pinto. It's the feds. It's what they do.
more than 4 years, defendant was charged with running the Big U enterprise from at least 2010 until his arrest, which often used rolling 60s as muscle in his criminal activity. Specifically, defendant often assisted by rolling 60s or other members of associates of the Big U enterprise, use intimidation, fear, violence, threats of violence, assaults, extortion, and murder in the streets for power and profit. Through the media in his nonprofit development options, defendant portrayed himself as the neighborhood savior and drawing in donations and government resources intended to benefit at-risk youth, but which he oftentimes used to fund his lifestyle instead. Despite his life of crime, defendant never wanted to return to jail, so he went to great lengths to avoid law enforcement detection, tamper with witnesses, and otherwise obstruct justice. Recent examples of defendant's acts or threats of violence. murder of RW, and I don't even know if I really want to read this, but whatever. In 2021, defendant drove to Las Vegas with another Enterprise member to confront RW, a rapper signed a defendant's record label who was also a close friend of defendant's son and someone defendant had known for years. Apparently upset about RW's lack of studio production and purported diss song. Defendant left the studio with RW in the middle of the night for RW's Airbnb. RW leaving his Airbnb with his belongings was the last time he was seen alive, as he was found the next morning with gunshot wounds to the head. Defendant returned to the studio hours after he had left, claiming he had gone to the gym despite the 2 a.m. hour. Defendant's cell phone actively the obstructionist conduct of other members of the enterprise. The defendant's own words and reactions intercepted on wire prove his guilt of the heinous crime. RW's murder not only demands defendant's continued detention, but cautious against what may happen to other witnesses, cooperators, and victims were defended to be released on bond, robbery, and extortion. Throughout the period of interception and before, defendant was captured on audio and video recordings extorting victim one, both through a co-defendant.
Now, the paperwork sounds bad. They still have to prove all these things, but God damn, this paperwork sound bad. They still got to prove all this stuff, yeah, but God damn, this paperwork sound busy.
Mr. Robinson, and personally, in doing so, defendant and Robinson frequently threatened violence against victim one if he failed to pay their fees. Those threats were not empty. When victim one started to ignore defendant's calls demanding extortion payments, defendant sent multiple armed robbers to victim one's dispensary to rob him, and then demanded $10,000 from victim one.
Story Luce Cannon, simple, slow ass told.
To prevent future robberies. And multiple intercepted calls, defendant and his co-conspirators discussed even more robberies they were committing. Robinson also frequently told victim one about defendant's violence, including that defendant was the only OG still actively committing murders. In addition to the constant extortion of victim one, defendant extorted victim two for $30,000 for a party thrown in defendant's honor in December 2021. When the victims requested to pay only $20,000, defendant responded with force, threatening, "I'll tear that bitch up. It won't be a club there no more." And then sending Robinson, another co-defendant, Martin, and members of the Rolling 60s to confront victim two at his business and extort $30,000 from him. While the substantive extortion counts are currently limited to just some of those extortions of victim one and victim two, they are not defendant's only extortions. For example, on October 19, 2021, defendant told victim one and defendant was taking over the extortion of another business owner. Then on November 7, 2022, on an intercepted call, after yet another extortion victim stated that defendant had not fully paid the extortion victim for work on defendant's vehicle, defendant directed Martin to call the extortion victim right now and stated that he would go out there and kill that nigga. On February 14, 2023, damn, on Valentine's Day?
On Valentine's Day? God damn, he's got no boundaries. Sheesh.
On another intercepted call, Robinson told defendant that Robinson told Jew Boy that he owed the Big U Enterprise money, that they would allow a payment plan, but if he did not pay, they were going to shut this motherfucker down. Power to direct violence. Making him that much more dangerous, defendant holds power over others, threatening and committing violence. For example, on November 23, 2022, on an intercepted call, defendant said that he could pay 3 people $50 each to beat up someone and described paying people to mess up a store that was refusing.
$50 is a really low number.
To provide defendant a discount. On April 17, 2023, on another intercepted call, defendant directed an individual to deliver a message to another marijuana dispensary owner. That defendant said, "Fuck him," and that he fucked with the wrong guy. Despite a prior 23-year sentence for armed robbery, defendant stayed armed. Since at least July 20th, 1992, defendant has been prohibited from even possessing firearms based on his felony convictions for armed robbery. Defendant stayed armed. Since at least July 20th, 1992, defendant has been prohibited from even possessing firearms based on his felony convictions for second-degree robbery with a firearm, conspiracy, and drug trafficking, for which he...
So, 92, 2002, 12, for the last 30 years, nigga, you ain't supposed to have no Blake on you. And you got caught with, they said that you got caught with Blake on you, all on the wiretap. Damn.
You see the 23-year prison sentence. Upon his release from prison, he nevertheless continued to use firearms himself, like he murdered RW and directed others to use firearms, like when they robbed victim one's dispensary. Throughout his investigation, recordings corroborated that defendant constantly was armed. On October 22nd, 2022, Robinson told victim one that defendant and Robinson will be attending an after party at a club that victim 1 was promoting, and that a pat down is out because defendant will be in attendance, implying that defendant was armed. On an intercepted call a month later, defendant told an incarcerated individual that anyone coming at him better come correct because defendant always has 2 blowers, i.e. firearms on him. On January 3rd, 2023, on an intercepted call, defendant described to an incarcerated individual tooling up with firearms to travel to Crips neighborhood because we were the most arrogant, bougie, self-righteous motherfuckers on the planet. On April 1st, 2023, on another intercepted call, defendant asked someone to grab defendant's blower, which he left on the ground, and a blue sweatshirt in front of a tire. Defendant is not only a physical danger, but a financial danger too. Defendant's crimes against victims are not confined only to violence. He spent decades creating a facade of a reformed gang member who seeks to build rather than destroy his community. So, disguised defendant used that persona primarily
Call this nigga financial danger is a new level of diabolical.
To take from the very community he claims to help. Hundreds of thousands of dollars flowed from charitable donors and government programs to defendants' developing options bank account. Almost immediately, he siphoned off much money into his personal bank account. Defendant got richer and richer off his fraud, like the extortions and robberies, owning multiple homes, driving a Mercedes, taking lavish trips, and shopping for luxuries like a $30,000 necklace. The money taken from donors and taxpayers' pockets will never find their intended benefactors. The at-risk youth and children of Crenshaw. That damage could not be undone, but defendant's success in deceiving politicians, celebrities, and community activists, as well as the public at large, further militates against his release back into the community as he attempts to fund an expensive defense. Defendant is fluent in obstruction. Oh, this ought to be crazy. All of it may be founded on crimes, but defendant built a charmed life following his 23-year sentence for armed robbery. He does not want to give it up and uses obstruction frequently to avoid that. The destruction of surveillance footage, use of intercepted applications like FaceTime, demands to meet in person to avoid law enforcement, intercepted communications, use of multiple phones and cars, orders not to speak.
So it sounds like FaceTime is getting you niggas off of these crimes. It sounds like FaceTime is not being able to be transcribed.
On crimes, the defendant built a charmed life following his 23-year sentence for armed robbery. He does not want to give it up and uses obstruction frequently to avoid that. The destruction of surveillance footage, use of intercepted applications like FaceTime, demands to meet in person to avoid law enforcement, intercepted communications, use of multiple phones and cars, orders not to speak to law enforcement, and chastising any perceived or suspected cooperators are detailed in the charging instruments. A few are also highlighted here. Even when the criminal charges were not against defendant personally, defendant instructed a victim relative that the victim was to go to the lineup, tell him to pick the wrong person to insinuate defendant's associate from the charges, a master manipulator. Defendant told another associate that to influence the media for his lawsuit against law enforcement, he should show both positive and negative parts of his life, wear glasses, and say that he was working with developing options, even though he was not. On multiple intercepted calls, defendant talked about beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw. And while defendant may claim other reasons for feuding with that witness, this court should protect him
Wait, so the court is protecting WACK 100 from Big U? Wait. Hold on. So the courts are protecting WACK 100 from Big U.
About beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw. And while defendant may claim other reasons for feuding with that witness, this court should protect him after fleeing with his phones in the hours before his scheduled arrest, in this case, in an attempt to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise reporting information about defendant. Defendant posted publicly on Instagram naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them and claiming that if they did, they were not black. And I told y'all, bro, I said that post he put on Instagram,
that's what we take it as a threat,
was insane. I did not understand that. Like, bro, I damn near went off. But, it is what it is. In an attempt to poison the jury pool, defendant posted on Instagram claiming racial profiling, ignoring that almost every single one of the defendant's victims, from RW to many of his extortion, robbery, fraud victims, and the at-risk youth he's supposed to help are black, and blaming his co-defendants and opponents for the charges filed against him in a federal criminal complaint. Well, the news, y'all did the same exact stuff holding that damn press conference. What are you talking about? So if y'all gonna claim that shit, then y'all gotta claim y'all did the same exact thing. That like stuff like that. And I don't know if Big U's guilty or innocent. It's always innocent till proven guilty. But they just did the same thing. You don't think that whole entire press release wasn't to poison the jury pool at all either?
Oh, for sure. For sure. You're going to make sure that the public opinion looks crazy.
Come on now. Y'all playing a hell of a game right there. Legal standard. A defendant must be detained pending trial where no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of any other person in the community. 18 U.S.C. 3142E1. Detention is thus appropriate for a defendant who is either a danger to the community or at risk of non-appearance. And in the Bail Reform Act, we're not going to read all that. We're just going to go all the way to the bottom. Should remain detained because he is a risk of non-appearance and a danger to the community. The 43 federal charges against defendant and the damning evidence against him, his dangerous history.
43 charges.
History and characteristics, and the risks of numerous specific individuals and the community at large, if he were to be released, all support his detention pending trial. Nature and circumstances of the offenses. The nature and circumstances of defendant's offenses unequivocally weigh in favor of detention. There is no crime more serious or permanent than the murder that defendant committed, and still, defendant did not stop there. Courts considering cases like defendants have unanimously ruled in favor of detention. See United States versus Tortorta, or I'm gonna say Tortorta. That's how I'm gonna say that right there. Detailing on murder, reversing district court's release order, noting defendant's total commitment to a life of crime, quoting defendant's threats to kill, and defining his association with organized crime and a devotion to the mafia, a highly relevant consideration to the detention. When Torta court detained the defendant who made the mafia his highest priority in life and pledge fealty to its needs. Whatever the circumstances, defendant here, like in Torta, is virtually a paradigm of the criminal who, within the complaint of the Bail Reform Act, might plausibly be subjected to pretrial detention on grounds of dangerousness. Similarly, where a magistrate judge released a defendant charged with RICO crimes, including conspiracy to commit attempted murder and conspiracy to commit assault, with the background of an enterprise engaged in other acts of violence, the district court reversed, noting that the defendant is charged with violent and serious crimes and allegedly has been a member of his street gang since May 2012, and that the seriousness and violent nature of the crimes the defendant is charged with weighs against his release. United States versus Cazares, where a defendant was charged in a RICO indictment based on extortion, wire fraud, witness tampering, and other crimes, and he directed the activities of his co-defendants as defendant did here. Detention was warranted based on his activities as well as the activities of those he supervised and controlled. United States versus Sassoon, and cite multiple second court cases that have rejected as insufficient various conditions of release proposed in cases involving a pretrial detention of purported leaders of organized crime families shown to be involved in violent criminal activities. Also see United States versus Colombo, reverse a release order, even where defendant did not directly participate in any crime alleged, but led the criminal enterprise that carried out criminal activities at his direction. Defendants facing RICO charges based on predicate acts of murder, conspiracy to murder, and other crimes were also detained on larger for readily furthering organized crime criminal objectives through violence, which appropriately describes defendant here. United States versus Arena. Moreover, as currently charged, defendant faces a statutory maximum of well over 600 years, even discounted defendant's
600 years. Goddamn.
Defendant's criminal history due to his age is currently charged. Defendant faces a likely guidelines range of life in prison based on a total offense level of 43 for count one alone. God damn. The severity of the pretrial penalties involved arguments, defendant's risks of non-appearance. See United States versus Brenneman. Affirming denial of bail based on risk of non-appearance, where defendant facing fraud charges that exposed him to a range of just 57 to 71 months imprisonment. United States versus Townsend, explaining that facing the much graver penalties possible under the present indictment, the defendants have an even greater incentive to consider flight, and noting that electronic monitoring cannot assure prevention of non-appearance. See,
he's saying that this nigga can't even be like, house arrest ain't enough. This nigga cut that ish off and go on the dash.
Also, United States versus Gonzalez Claudio, it is entirely reasonable to conclude that a risk of flight is more likely in circumstances where evidence indicates that a defendant has engaged in terrorist activities and faces a substantial risk of being convicted of serious pending charges and receiving significant punishment. While defendant turned himself in after a period of flight and removal of evidence, he did not, at that time, know the weight of the charges. The substantial sentence he faces or the insurmountable weight of the evidence proving his crimes. See United States versus Moscar Toto? I don't know. I ain't even finna butcher that one. The steeper of the potential sentence, the more probable the fight of risk is, especially considering the strong case of government quotation omitted. In sum, the nature and circumstances of defendant's offenses demonstrate that he is a risk of both danger and non-appearance. Weight of the evidence. The evidence that defendant committed the charged offenses is overwhelming and cannot be ignored. In assessing defendant's risk of danger and non-appearance in this case, see United States versus Aslian. I don't know. I'm finna stop doing that shit. We just finna keep on reading, man. Given the nature of the crime and the strength of the government's case, we find that the government has met its burden of showing by clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. Emphasis added. Defendant was captured of audio recorders and intercepted wire calls discussing various violent and other crimes for months and even years. Many of his extortions were themselves captured in recordings. The financial records and tax documents.
He told on himself, man. Told on himself, talking on that phone.
Do not lie either. They show exactly how defendant committed all his fraud, and the recordings show why. All of the evidence in this case conclusively shows defendant's personal involvement in murder, extortion, robbery, fraud, human trafficking, and tax crimes. Defendant's entire purpose was based on financial gain, respect, fear, and intimidation. Accordingly, the weight of the evidence favors defendant's continued detention. History and characteristics of defendant. This court should not fall victim to any argument about defendant's lack of convictions since his release from state custody in early 2000s. Absence of convictions is not the same as absence of crimes. Defendant's history and characteristics.
They saying that he committed crimes, he just didn't get caught. They want him bad.
Plainly favor detention. Defendant's involvement in multiple violent offenses while holding himself out to be a gang interventionist working with law enforcement renders him particularly dangerous to the community. The fact that Barone committed and planned violent crimes even more when purportedly cooperated with authorities signals a degree of dangerousness unlikely to be deterred by bail release conditions. I know they finna have fun with that one. They about to call Big U a or whatever because they was working with police. I know exactly what's about to happen. I'm not saying he snitched based on that, but I know the fact that Barone committed and planned violent crimes even more when purportedly cooperated with authorities signals a degree of dangerousness unlikely to be.
So they saying that he committed violent crimes and he cooperated with authorities. Damn. It's gonna be ugly.
Deterred by bail release conditions. I know they finna have fun with that one. They about to call Big U a snitch or whatever because they just said he was working with police. I know exactly what's about to happen. I'm not saying he's snitched based on that, but I know it is coming. Y'all can clock it like a damn highway patrol officer sitting with a speed gun. Dangerousness unlikely to be deterred by bail release conditions. Affirming district court's explanation that defendant's Hobbs Act robbery crimes were a danger to the community and affirming sentence. His violent grip over Los Angeles is exacerbated by his apparent continued access to firearms despite being a felon, repeatedly discussed on intercepted calls. Order and detention because other reasons, evidence of substance abuse and firearms registration in defendant's names also show defendant poses a danger to the community. United States versus Hernandez. Let's keep on going down. Defendant's depraved and duplicitous scheme to intimidate and defraud the very community that he benefited from, claiming to help cast his criminal history in an even more troubling light. Indeed, defendant's history of charges for murder and other gang-related activities compared with the murder and other violent crimes he is now charged with committing alongside gang members suggests that defendant did not change his criminal behavior in any way. He just got better at hiding it. More recent arrests for child abuse and being a felon in possession of a firearm also became more ominous in light of the evidence in this case. What? The question.
Child abuse? Where the hell did child abuse come from? This is getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Goodness gracious, this rabbit hole is getting deep.
Pause and considering whether the defendant is able or willing to conduct himself without putting others in danger. The defendant so clearly fled from law enforcement the night before his arrest, only to publicly blame others for his crimes and charges, reinforces his guilt and his incompatibility with pretrial release. Damn, okay. Defendant surrender to law enforcement was likewise not to fight the charges and to show he has nothing to hide, but was taken with the precise goal of crafting an argument for bail before the court. However, while defendant may have made the calculated decision in consultation with his attorneys to return to Los Angeles after his relatively brief flight from his arrest on the complaint, that callous inevitability changes today. After the 43-count indictment was returned with extremely serious offenses carrying enormous potential penalties, he is now, for the first time in decades, facing the very likely prospect of never leaving prison alive. Indeed, that would be a guideline sentence on the charges the government is prepared to prove by, among other things, the testimony of witnesses and victims and electronic evidence, including intercepted phone calls and surreptitious recordings, giving the serious nature of the charges, the strength of the evidence, and the defendant's access to vast amounts of resources and criminal support. His risk of non-appearance is more pronounced today than it has ever been. Nature and seriousness of the danger posed by defendant's release. Defendant is not only a risk of danger to the community, but has acted on his dangerousness time and again. While this brief summarizes many of the defendant's violent acts, it may be missing others, given defendant's use of others to commit crimes for him and his proclivity for talking in person or on an intercepted application to avoid detention. And still, defendant's varied crimes are still omnipresent in his recorded communications. Further, defendant's release will pose a serious risk to individuals who have assisted the government in this case, as well as witnesses and victims who have so far refused to cooperate or provide statements because of what they know. Whoa. As defendant made clear in an intercepted call on January 5th, 2023, being a rat means you are done, indeed. Trying to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise reporting information about defendant before turning himself in. Defendant posed an Instagram video naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them and claiming that if they did, they were not black. This tracks with the means and methods.
They were not black. It's crazy.
Methods of the enterprise described and the indictment threatening or pressuring victims or witnesses of crimes committed by members or associates of the Big U enterprise to avoid interaction with or to provide untruthful statements or testimony to law enforcement officers. Defendant's release would pose a serious risk to the safety of those specific individuals. They're basically saying, hey, if we let him out, he's going to basically get on the internet and tell about all the people that right now are protected that's about to come out and tell. Threats of physical harm to cooperating witnesses risk serious danger to the witnesses themselves as well as to the community more broadly. To be plain, such conduct fundamentally endangers the integrity of the judicial process. United States versus, I'm just going to stop reading that. Let's go to, you're talking about LaFontaine, explaining detention may be even more justified in violations. We're not doing that. Then in cases where defendant's past criminality was said to support a finding of general dangerousness and rejected contention that her attempts to influence the testimony of witnesses did not constitute the type of danger to the community that would support detention. They must be talking about something else. There's no way. Even the nonviolent forms of obstruction of peace pose a sufficiently serious danger to the community such that pretrial detention is warranted. That's all in quotes. So no bail resources can mitigate defendant's danger to the community is light of the severity of his charged offenses and his obstruction during the investigation and following the announcement of charges. And then we're going to go down. Likewise, any proposed release conditions, including electronic monitoring, would all suffer from the critical flaw and that they depend on defendant's good faith compliance in order to be effective. In particular, electronic monitoring does not prevent a defendant from committing crimes within the monitoring radius, and there is no reasonable way to assure that a defendant will not make impermissible stops or detours on his way to places permitted under the restrictions. Let's keep on going. Because defendant's personal commitment to abide by release conditions is the key factor for determining his fitness for bail. In particular, given defendant's history of engaging in obstructive conduct, no condition on the bond form could prevent and detect such conduct. And then let's just go down. For example, United States, case where defendant was charged with witness tampering among other crimes and where obstruction remained an ongoing concern. The circuit court reversed the district court's release of defendant on bail conditions because the $1 million bond, which was to be secured. So we ain't really doing all that. More specifically, the appellate court found out we ain't doing that either. Even participation in pretrial services, computer monitoring program would be insufficient to ensure that the defendant will cease engaging in unauthorized or inappropriate communications in person on undisclosed devices or through third parties. Indeed, defendant flouted BOP rules for years or BOP rules for years. Defendant previously bragged about paying guards and overseeing the entire drug trade on the yard when previously serving time. More recently, as overheard on an intercepted call on November 22nd, 2022, when defendant told an incarcerated individual that defendant was going to charge someone in federal prison $6,000 to have a phone smuggled to him. Then on January 3rd, 2023, on an intercepted call, defendant told an incarcerated individual that defendant was going to purchase 6 miniature phones to send to the incarcerated individual so that he can sell them in prison for $1,000 each. Now in custody himself, defendant has asked his family to contact known victims in the case. If defendant cannot abide by rules in the highly restrictive setting of detention, there is no reason he should be trusted to abide by the court's conditions in less restrictive setting. The risk to numerous victims and witnesses in this case, as well as the rest of the public, is too great to give defendant that chance conclusion. If the court wants to know how defendant will conduct himself on pretrial release, it need look no further than the recordings documenting defendant's conduct and threats through his investigation. With everything to lose, including the immense goodwill he fraudulently procured from the community in his city, the defendant still told anyone who dared to ask he was a killer, and he proved that he was, because defendant is both a danger to the community and risk of non-appearance should the case not go his way. The court should permanently detain defendant pending trial.
They want that man to expire. They want that man to expire in the federal penitentiary. Red dots to the left, you know the rest, man. Be better today than what you were yesterday. Be even better tomorrow, but today be at your best. Free having the choice free. Keep y'all updated as this story more continues to develop. Go. What's the deal, y'all? Shout out to Bandits, the Trap Network, back in the same, like a crack in the same. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. More of the content we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Wait, hold on. It's 10 and Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge, you can't get nobody's college, big dog. Tap in with the tap in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. New notifications. Hit all. Say tap in for the latest and the greatest. Everything we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. News and 10, you can use 10. That's that knowledge, you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Everything we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Tap in with that tap in to make sure you are in fact tapped in with that good. Tap in. You feel me? Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, and get into that good subscribe button. I need y'all to hit that notification bell. Hit all. Say tap in for the latest and the greatest. Make sure y'all get into that, man. What's the newest song we got out? Won't forget, man. Get into that if you ain't got into that. We finna slide over here to Chig Smooth. Big shout out to Chig Smooth, giving us some news we can use, some knowledge we ain't finna get nobody's college, man. We finna slide over here and we finna jump into this. Charleston White
always found it interesting that Charleston
violates RAC 100. Let's see what's getting into this.
YouTube.
It's late. It's 11 o'clock at night. I've been up doing this all day. Let's just run the content.
Chigs.
Chick Smooth, appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Charleston White is not rocking with no jumper. Now, I've always found it interesting that Charleston White does interviews with so many different platforms, some of which are not even hip-hop platforms. Initially, I thought, maybe Adam 22 just never got around to reaching out to Charleston White. I mean, yeah, him and WACK 100 currently have an issue with each other, but that's never stops Adam from reaching out and doing an interview with somebody. Now, Adam 22's platform has been widely criticized by a lot of people. It was only 3 years ago that Adam 22 did an interview with Joe Budden and his podcast crew, and they called out Adam 22 for monetizing off of Black trauma.
He ain't making the money you are. You sitting there interviewing these black kids that are fucking killing each other and y'all monetizing it. That's not cool. I don't give a fuck what they talking about in their songs. Y'all are turning a profit off of this black trauma of them killing each other. Yeah, they the ones doing the killing because they young and they dumb and they don't fucking know no better. We 45 and 46 years old and we know better because these are our nephews. So they not your nephews, and that's why you don't see the Kevin Samuels shit in the same light that we see it, because you're a white dude.
Sheesh. Let him cook.
And you don't understand what he is. Except Kevin Samuels was causing a black
drill rappers aren't worthy of being interviewed.
I'm not, bro. You're not gonna spin my words. I'm sharp.
I mean, that's what I'm taking from what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I interviewed this dude and I asked him about his music and his content.
True. And what I'm telling you is, he's 19, 20, 21 years old. He's gonna give anything just to be on somebody's fucking camera and get some light shined on his project.
I interview rappers.
What I'm saying is he lost his life.
I interview rappers all the time.
These people are losing their lives, and you keep telling me about the business of.
And I interview them, and they don't know better. Crazy shit. No, because they do know better. I'm telling you, most street rappers, when you interview them, are not going to say shit about their eyes.
I'm gonna just stay out of grown folks' business because Adam, goodness gracious, is not going to end well for you, big dog.
Or they're not gonna whatever.
Older ones.
They're smart about it.
Older
right?
ones.
Smarter ones. He was someone. That's a normal word to me. He was someone who was more open about the people he was beefing with. Obviously, he's like Lil Durk's top op while he was living, right? And so he's talking about his problems with Lil Durk because that's a prominent theme in his music and stuff.
Stop. This ain't funny, Parks. It's not funny, Parks. Stop.
Enemy. His enemy is a word that has been used for as long as time. Okay. He's talking about this stuff in his content. So I asked him
A white person saying things that make white people uncomfortable is pretty uncomfortable.
about it during the interview because that's what a lot of his content is about. Of course, I want to know about the conflict that he has with one of the top rappers that he has beef with.
True.
How can I not ask these guys about the shit they're
saying,
making music
True.
about?
You're not saying one wrong thing.
Right.
You are not saying one wrong thing. What I'm saying is I find it somewhat disturbing that somebody that is outside of what these boys endure on a day-to-day basis, interviewing them and monetizing it for your own personal gain when these kids are dying. This is them and their family's trauma that you guys are monetizing to turn a fucking profit. And you're calling it journalism. That's not fucking journalism.
They're gaining from it as well.
No, they're not.
Yes, they do.
They're losing.
It's promoting his music career. There's a reason why these dudes in particular.
Adam 22 is a sick motherfucker.
You got Ruga and FBG Cash on the screen. They both fly to Los Angeles to do an interview with me because it's promoting their career and their business that they're building for themselves. The fact that FBG Cash got into this random ass situation where his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend shot him or whatever the fuck it was. What does that have to do with anything? That's just some bullshit that happened after the fact.
Even the way you just said stop ice. Yo, you and your girlfriend.
Fast forward 3 years later, a bunch of No Jumper hosts are now being locked up on RICO charges. Not only that, but No Jumper was listed many times on the indictment. Now, whether or not Adam 22 knew that eventually somebody from his No Jumper podcast crew was going to get locked up simply based off of
this that past interview just doesn't help the case. No, does it? It just doesn't look too good on Adam's behalf.
shit they said on No Jumper. Adam 22 did not take the necessary steps to protect his guys. If you're going to employ gang members and have them speaking all kinds of crazy stuff on your podcast, at least try to edit out some of the wild shit that they say or do. Charleston White recently did an interview with the Dancer Project. Make sure you guys go check out that full interview on their channel. And he called out Adam 22 and the entire No Jumper host.
You ever do No Jumper? No, hell no. I wouldn't dare sit down. He wouldn't let me fuck his wife. Yeah, he wouldn't let me fuck his wife. Did he ever reach out or was it? Yeah, he was begging for me to do it. Yeah, he was begging for me to do No Jumper. I wouldn't do it.
What's your opinion on their platform in general?
It's a gangbangers platform. You know, I think it's for down low brothers. I think it's a down low brother platform for a group of a bunch of in-closet homosexual men that's portraying to be gangsters in streets, but they punks. Yeah, they gangster gays. So that's
This nigga Charleston White, how much longer? All right, 3 minutes and about 14 seconds. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I think the nigga in closet punks over there just playing, playing gangster tough guy, Crippin' blood California nigga. But yeah, they down low, brother.
It's odd to see
all of every nigga on that platform. I think any nigga go to that platform is a down low homosexual closet. And everybody you have up there is a criminal with gang ties. Homie, being a criminal with gang ties is not something you want to group a bunch of people in, because that enhances anything you're involved in. When you got gang ties, it enhances whatever charge, it enhances your time. No. And you got all these guys from these different sets, and everybody comes from the criminal elements of society. None of these guys is business owners. Every guy you got up there comes from the criminal elements of society with gang ties and gang affiliation, and the gang has murders and unsolved murders, and all these guys talk about is criminal activity. What else do y'all expect? and you got the white man facilitated. If
This nigga Charleston White low key just say some real shit though. I ain't gonna lie. What did you expect? Like, yeah, put it like that.
it was,
What was given, what we got is what we expected, I guess.
ain't making no money. They're not getting paid to do nothing. They got to try to charge somebody to come up for the. Homie, you heard when they fell out, they ain't making no money. These niggas doing this for a hobby. Imagine what they women at home saying. Every day, these niggas going up there to come talk game politics. They probably barely making ends meet somewhere.
Now, I'm not going to put all the blame on Adam 22. These are
I
all
will say that too. You can't put all the blame on Adam 22 because everybody's a grown man with their own decision making. So everybody who went up there and spoke on No Jumper, you decided to speak on No Jumper. I haven't yet to see Adam 22 put a power to somebody's head, and you know what I'm saying?
grown men that knew what they signed up for. Nobody forced these guys to get on No Jumper. Nobody forced these guys to have the kind of conversations that would possibly get them into legal issues. And of course, if you don't commit the crime, there's nothing you can be charged with. But I think when it comes to Adam 22, there's certain things he does that makes you feel like he does not care about the culture or the people that he employs. To Adam 22, it looks like this is all just one big joke to him. Even though people are facing real life situations that can possibly put them away for life and also keep them away from their families, Adam 22 is just happy to be part of this moment. And unfortunately for the people involved, they're all disposable to Adam 22. This was a message Adam put out this morning.
I spent last week complaining about how all my Crips were gone. Just like that. God got me. We're getting one back. We're getting one back. Still got 3 to pray for, but we're getting one back. God is good.
Very tasteless. Very tasteless.
Free all the Crips.
Listen, man, prayers out to everybody involved. Hopefully people can make better decisions when they're out of this horrible situation. But it's hard to imagine that when you got Luce Cannon calling into No Jumper and still speaking about street stuff. You guys get in the comments.
Like, comment, subscribe, man. Free Avenue Angel, so he's free. Barnacles. To do, y'all. We're Trap News Trap News Network. Back in the same. Like Hood cracking the same man here at TNN. Trap News Network. We back in this thing. We back in this thing. Like Hood cracking the same man. Back in the same, like Hood cracking the same man. Hope y'all having a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's getting that news they can use. That good knowledge of thing finna get nobody's college, big dog. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that good subscribe button. If you ain't did so yet, man, make sure y'all sign over to richtraphouse.com. Good merchiana. Boom, get into that. The Pathetic Fat So Look Right collection is out. So Look Right, that's out now. And I don't think she's ever seen this real quick. Yeah, I was serious. No, it literally says so look right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm yeah. Yes. Go to the merch shop. Anyway, we finished. Oh my God, you bumbling buffoon. Shout out to the No Jumper Make-A-Wish Foundation. All proceeds for the So Look Right will go to help a kid in need, because a kid in need is a kid indeed for sure. We love the No Jumper Make-A-Wish Foundation. I love all those dudes who commit their time to helping the less fortunate. We've been to slide over here to Top Media TV. We got Baby U, Big U's son, speaking on his father's situation. Let's get into this. Let's go.
Free pops, sure.
What up? It's Top Media TV, y'all. We back again. So pretty much, WACK 100 denies the allegations about Big U's son, how he might have been gay and was having a relationship with Rayshawn Williams. Big U has 3 sons. One plays for the NFL. The other one is the older one. And then you have the one y'all just seen in the little clip. That's actually Lil U. And I believe that's the dude who they believe was trying to say was having gay relationships with Rayshawn Williams. And when Big U found out, he felt like, that was going to get out. And they trying to say how that was the reason why Rayshawn Williams was killed by Big U. Of course, y'all also heard the other rumors, how he might have did a diss song or whatever the case may be. So Lil U kind of, speaks out on the situation with Big U. His dad say, you know, free his pops, you know, he's in a mosque, he's a Muslim too, just like his daddy, Big U. But this is what WACK said, y'all, about that whole situation.
Oh, you know, now they got this weird thing now, which it kind of, I hate to say it, it kind of helps his case, because now the narrative is the victim and Big U's son, and I'm gonna tell you where they got this from. In the indictment,
they got it from your clubhouse room. That's where this whole rumor came from. Your clubhouse room. That's where that came from. It didn't come from no one else. It came from your clubhouse room. Let's always let the record reflect. Rat Run Hunter in his clubhouse space is where this situation came from, where this rumor came from. He's gonna act like it's not. No, this rumor started on your clubhouse platform.
Phone call allegedly from Big U to his son, right? And he says, don't talk about the murder of RW to nobody. Now, when people hear the son right now, the only son that people's looking at is the one that plays for the NFL, Dayon Henley, right? Big U has 3 sons, right? Dayon's not a gang member. He doesn't participate in street activity. Nice young man, watch him grow. But this is the part that's getting weird. Now they're saying, well, Big U's motive wasn't the rap song. It was that he found out that the rapper and his son, Dayon, were lovers. And he was scared that if this got out, he would be affected in the NFL. Now, there's a few key things. One, there's people that have came out in all sports that it doesn't.
Yeah, there was.
But 2, let's get to the real part of it. I've been knowing this young man.
Notice how WACK cut off whoever was going to start talking. WACK cut him right off.
And since he's been about 7, 8 years old, right? There's nothing.
That's right,
feminine.
WACK. That's right, WACK. You
or nothing gay about Dayon Henley, right?
That's right, WACK. You fix that. You fix that narrative. You fix that narrative that you put into the universe.
So I don't know who started that one. Yeah, me and Big U got our problems, we got our issues, but whenever it came down to his children, I've been in situations since we've been at it where I've stepped up to the plate for his children. And you know what? I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Maybe 2022, 2-ish or 2023, in the heart of our beef, my daughter and her mother went to Crenshaw High to the celebrity basketball game. A bunch of people sending me pictures. Yo, WACK, man, you better get some people up there, right? So in the picture, you know what I see?
So are we going to actually hear from Big U's son, or are we going to just continue to hear this nigga talk? Because he's been saying the same thing over and over for the longest. Okay, cool. He does actually say something. Got it.
About 8 feet.
Come here, little buddy. I got to go to the grocery store, buy some fruit. I'm going to do it after this video. Say hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
What's up with you? You stink, bro.
I just want a snack.
Okay, well, guess what?
Yeah?
I got to go to the grocery store and get some.
Okay.
Okay, so ask your brother to make you a snack. Say, can you, Dylan, make him a light snack before his class. I love you. Give me a kiss. Love you. You're the best son ever. Ever.
5 feet behind him, guess who I see? Big U. Big U. And when I seen Big U was that close to him, you know what I knew? They were good. Regardless of what me and him going through, right? They were good. And this at Crenshaw High. This 2022, 2023. Like, people sending me photos like, yo, you better. But once I seen him in the picture in the building, I knew I didn't have to worry about it. Same way with his son, with his middle son, right?
Now, these rumors had initially started by somebody and people was trying to believe that rumor, but it wasn't true. But this is the actual rumor, y'all, that actually started. And now before we play the actual person who was actually trying to say Big U's son was gay, and that's why Big U had killed Rayshawn Williams, this is Lil U, Big U's son.
Free pops for sure. Don't stay down, hold it down. Don't keep pushing this thing.
Sound like he in a mosque.
It's gonna always be our love.
It's about Big U, bro. I know like 3, 4 that got diss songs dissing Big U. All them still alive.
But now
and this is the dude who WACK 100 had put the content out, and WACK will be like, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, no, I didn't. Yes, it is. This is one of WACK's minions from Clubhouse, and he put this content out, and this is how we got to this case.
Going off of this song makes no sense, bro. But it does make sense that if you found out that your son was one of his teammates and they were having sex, or that was his man or his boy, now that makes sense. That makes sense why he felt comfortable enough to wear his jewelry out. That makes more sense to why he felt comfortable wearing his clothes, his jewelry, everything. That makes sense, bro. And you got mad about that. If my baby mama gonna do, that's something my girl would do, is wear my clothes or wear my shirts or wear my shirt. That's something she would do. That's my partner. That's my girl. So that's cool. I ain't tripping, bro. Let's unpack this, bro. How the fuck does this make sense? So Big U is so mad because you wore some of his son's jewelry. Shouldn't his son be mad? If it's his chain, shouldn't he be mad? You stole my chain, bro. And
keep in mind, this is the person that WACK 100 had put this information out. He'll say that he didn't, but he did.
Bro, without my permission, I'm mad at you. His son wasn't mad. His dad was mad? How does that make sense? If somebody stole my chain, I'm mad at him. I don't need my daddy to be mad at him. Because look at this. That makes more sense. My son about to be in the NFL. He got a whole career, bro. Ain't nobody gonna with no NFL player, bro. They're not gonna him. You're not gonna ruin my son's career, bro. I'm not gonna let you do that. You know, through the situation, right? So, if I'm Ray Sean Williams and I live with Big U, why would I feel comfortable enough to wear a chain that belongs to his son? Allegedly, the reason why Big U kicked out Ray Sean from his house is because he wore one of his son's chains without permission, right? Why would he even feel comfortable enough to do that unless he knew it was okay? My baby mama wears my shirts all the time. She'll go to the store, throw on some of my sweatpants, one of my shirts, and be out. She wants to put it out and let people know that her family member wasn't killed over a diss song. Her family member was killed because Big U found out that his son and Ray Sean was around, bro. I'm sorry. It's hard even.
All right, man. You catch the rest of this on Top Media. So y'all what type of it is? That's the oh shit. Hold on, y'all. Let me see something real quick. She said I'm one of them ones who like I'm already knowing, nigga. What? They say Luce Cannon and Munchie B got into it on no Jumper today. I'm trying to find that. Let me see.
Couch and all this shit.
Like a picture, Big Kilo, hold it up.
Man, it seems to me like well, them about making noise. The hit never too. Like I feel glad of that. He just did a video about how Black Dave went to Korea and was basically like drunkenly torn my pants by the movement of him being English. Everywhere the feeling of is not, you know, perhaps his dad was regular. That's like it just bad. Not exactly.
I think because he's working with Dave Blood. No, but
probably
not. I'm you type.
Okay, I really again tweet like it was Hank some being guru. So basically, she leaked it, and it says at the time, Star shut down the idea of having cooked up with Kanye, saying this is so weird, this is so stupid. Let me just say this one time, like
shit. Oh no, Chris Brown you about his thing. That's great enough.
You can't just.
But it says Ye
if this was so, shout out to everybody, but Taylor Hill.
Here we go. I don't trust bitches about as far as I could throw them. I'm one of them ones. He like I'm already knowing, nigga. What? Pull up a down. I'm already knowing. I told that bitch go and get to the bag. She said I'm already hoeing. All right, there. All night long, all night long. Lush the type of nigga to eat a chili dog and then eat a bowl of cereal. Disgusting. What's the deal, y'all? We're sharp typing 10 and Trap News back in the same, like, cracking the stand, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Get news you can use. Good knowledge, though. We ain't finna get nobody's college. Though, big dog. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit the good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that good news you can use. It's that good knowledge, though. You ain't finna get nobody's college, though, big dog. Today, we want to give a special shout out to Adam22 and Munchie B for supporting this guy and the No Jumper Make a Wish Foundation. Every time you subscribe to No Jumper or get a membership, $1 will be given to helping a child in need. Is a child like Lush indeed. No Jumper Make a Wish Foundation, man. Big shout out to Munchie B. Big shout out to Adam22 for looking out for that guy, the No Jumper Make a Wish Foundation. We are about to go into this Kantiana. You got Munchie B and Luce Cannon getting into it while Luce Cannon's in jail. We finna jump into this Kantiana, man. Make sure y'all get into richtraphouse.com, get into the music, Man at the Garden freestyle, all that's out now. Let's see what Munchie B and Luce Cannon got cracking tonight. Let's see about it.
Wants to ask him about some top. I need some info on this.
What's up with Cuzzo Top?
Ain't nothing like some top from your cousin.
Ain't no Cuzzo Top.
Dave Bloods. Dave. What's going
on? Oh, no, that's Dave Blunt. Hold on. Yeah, okay.
What you and Brick? What court?
Yeah, and Mills, what's not all there, but I had no idea that he was that not there.
Yeah.
Why is Sharice Mills calling me?
Let's get Sharice on the line.
Sharice Mills, what you doing?
What's up, Adam? I got Cannon on the line. 1 second. I'm gonna bring you.
Hell yeah.
Cannon.
Sweetie!
That's my line right there.
Where's this?
That sounds like a race riot. What's going on? Yeah.
Yo.
Man, dude, grinding. What you got going on?
Shit, doing a podcast with Munchie B and Stoner from the town, aka J Stone Roo. How you doing? And Lush, obviously.
Yeah, and Lush too. Tell Peanut Butter Munch how you doing.
Okay,
I asked him, is he PC'd up yet?
Yeah, we're gonna hang up if you're gonna be doing that line of questioning.
No, leave him on there. Why you snitch on Eddie Boy in court?
You said what?
Why you snitch on Eddie Boy in court?
Who snitched on Eddie? Listen, you goofy.
Hey, hold on. Why you telling your brother? Why?
Dude,
my brother did that. Why you telling your brother?
You blind.
Why you telling your brother?
What you talking about?
I didn't do that. My brother did that.
You goofy.
Why you telling your?
Shut up.
Is you still 30?
Yo.
2 or 42. My brother did that. Why you telling your brother?
You blind.
Why you telling your brother?
What you talking about?
I didn't do that. My brother did that.
You goofy.
Why you telling your?
Shut up.
Is you still 32 or 42?
You a buster. You a sweetheart.
You know your wife about to get ran while you gone, right?
All right, so you just said you was gonna cut off the call for him saying that.
No.
Well, it feels like mutual combat now. Yeah.
Yeah, we boxing.
Sharice is mad. Sharice is mad. She don't like when you bring up the fact that she's finna be slobbing another knob like that. Never caught.
Sharice, man, stand up on his place, bro.
One of the two.
Hey, stand up over his place, bro. Big back. Hey, look. Hey, slow blood.
You a buster, bro.
Hey, what happened with you and Brick? Why you lie about kicking Brick out the cell?
Real life buster, bro.
Hey, look, listen, Slow Cannon, look. Why you lying about kicking Brick out the cell? Slow Cannon, Slow Cannon. Hey, we'll put you on the hood, cuz. Who put you on?
Anyway, can you mute the peanut butter?
No, stand in woman's place, blood. Goddamn.
Which one?
Ah, goddamn.
Continue or you want to mute the nigga?
No, man.
We can't mute him. He's here in real life.
I'm here in real life, man.
Bro, this nigga is not not a real person, bro. Luce Cannon's a creative player, bro. Nigga, you're in the feds, nigga. Why are you spending your time like this? You are in a federal detention center, nigga. You are the biggest dummy, nigga. Come the fuck on, bro. You cannot be this slow. Oh boy.
Which one like? Ah, goddamn.
You or you want to mute the nigga?
No, man.
We can't mute him. He's here in real life.
I'm here in real life.
Okay, well, tell him to shut the fuck up.
Hey, Slow Cannon, tell your bro shut up, bro.
Just
Slow Cannon. Oh man, cool. Hey man, I can't wait to Big U beat your ass. Hey, look. Why you snitching your brother in court, bro?
You ain't gonna do nothing.
Nah, nigga, you in jail.
On nothing, bro. My name is Clean, brother. Not like yours. You got your eyes stopped out. Your own homie stopped out your eyes.
I'm a torch Cerise. I'm telling her to stay in the woman's place. She don't know how I was.
Let's go. Let's go and go. Let's go.
Hey, Slow Cannon. Hey, tell your bro Biggie. I'm talking to you.
For you to call someone slow when your ass slow, please.
Hey.
Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. You sound slower than slow. I don't want to hear shit you gotta say, my nigga. Okay, I thought so. I thought
What's
so.
going on there?
Oh no, she's playing with that pussy or something. Oh, everything.
Oh, that pussy, you never. You wish. I'm sure you can't see shit either.
Nigga, did you
never?
what? Hey, bro, I just did content on that water you was in. What you know with?
Because you know what?
That nigga said, I just did content on that water you was in. Is diabolical, bro.
Oh, that's why your ass ain't got.
Why is your jacuzzi water green? Why is your jacuzzi water green?
My coochie water ain't
No, jacuzzi. Coochie slow too. No. Why is your jacuzzi water looking like a swamp?
Listen, what the hell are you talking about? How do you even know?
This shit on my YouTube channel. Go look. Go subscribe. The whole chat scene that your jacuzzi water was brown and green.
You wish.
No, I don't. It's on YouTube.
What you got?
It's on YouTube.
You got nothing. You got 4 walls. Go sit in the corner.
I got 4 walls.
Go sit in the corner.
Nah, I ain't in no cell. He is. Hey, look. Hey, Sheree.
Yo, Munchie B is funny, bro. And it's funny because I always say this nigga is unintentionally funny. He's not trying to be funny. He just is funny. Munchie B is comedy, bro. That nigga is jokes.
Hey, Sheree.
Listen, I'm not in jail. He is.
Sheree.
No, who's that?
I was talking to Slow Cannon, bro. Why you hopping in shit?
I don't give a fuck who you talking to. I'm talking to you now, my nigga.
Man, hey, bro. Hey, look, go take a bath, bro.
You can't call my man slow.
Hey,
yo,
man.
Bitch ass out.
All right, look. Sheree, go take a bath, okay?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
She mad?
Shit.
So how you, Sharice? How you holding up?
I'm holding up great. I'm doing just fine.
Man, don't hold her up. Let her get in the tub. Hey, cause that jacuzzi water was fucked up on the dead homies. That shit was brown.
You're not hearing
the whole
the dead homies my ass.
Man, I'm gonna send you the shit when I get done.
On the red homies.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the. Shut the fuck up. That's what I said.
That's what you
said. Put some respect on this, nigga. You wish.
Where your boyfriend go?
Where's Slow Cannon go? You can't even breathe.
He hung up?
Air around me, my nigga.
He left her hanging like that?
He probably hit his limit or something.
Oh, man. He left you hanging?
That's all you could do. You can't even breathe over here.
Man, I want to get at him, man. Why yo?
Search the internet, right?
Oh, man. Go get that baby fat off, bro. Then come back.
My nigga, you wish.
Wait, what did he say?
That's all you could do. You can't even breathe over here.
Man, I want to get at him, man. Why yo?
Search the internet, right?
Oh, man. Go get that baby fat off, bro. Then come back.
My nigga, you wish. You wish.
What's what?
You wish. You heard what I said, my nigga.
What the fuck is she even talking about? She's gonna listen back to this and be like, I didn't do well. Nah, Sharice, you didn't. Not Luce Cannon. Munchie B fired you up. Munchie B got you in quite a tiff. You've been fired up.
What's that right saying, nigga, bro?
Anyway.
Oh, he good. Man, Trump gonna get you. He's from Trinidad. He's sending you back. You going back? See, you got broken English and all kind of shit.
She don't gotta lose weight though. She can stay fit.
No. You didn't see that video when she was going to the court bed and breathing hard as fuck.
Your ass couldn't even know what
She about to fall out.
the last interview that you did. Your ass is so fucking. Yo, I can't with the
man. Get the words out.
You got me talking to this weird ass nigga.
What about the last?
Yo, get the words out.
I'm a weirdo, but at least I ain't got peanut butter in my ass. Nigga, shut the fuck up.
Hey,
ass
what's
nigga.
up with the jacuzzi water?
I said, shut the fuck up. I said, talking about jacuzzi water. Nigga, at least I got a motherfucking jacuzzi. What the fuck you got?
I ain't bragging on no dirty water.
You got a pot to piss in.
All right. So you cool with the dirty water? So you cool with the dirty water?
It didn't look like Flint, Michigan, though, right?
Shut up.
Flint, Michigan? Hey, that's the dirtiest water you could think of, because I think her shit fucking out over.
No, it's called chocolate chip sundae, nigga. You don't know nothing about that, okay?
Chocolate chip sundae. I'm not sure what the. No, I don't. I don't think I want my girl smelling like a chocolate chip sundae. I don't think that's the smell I want from my girl.
It's called having whipped cream and chocolate in the
whipped
water.
Whipped cream ain't got nothing to do with that water.
Oh, you got whipped cream and chocolate in the water. Maybe that's how the OnlyFans video started, and then she ended up in the water with whipped cream and chocolate on there. Interesting. I don't think I want that.
Whipped cream is not green, bro.
She said it was chocolate in it too.
Chocolate?
Yeah. Water. You wouldn't know nothing about that because you can't see.
Chocolate chip water?
That is too advanced for me. I wasn't aware.
Ain't nobody in here heard no chocolate chip water.
Chocolate chip water?
What is
like,
whipped cream and chocolate chip water?
Yeah, what is that exactly?
It's called a sundae, baby. It's called a sundae.
Oh, that's some bullshit. Get her off the phone.
Her dude ain't out.
I don't want these young ladies to follow that lead and be on some
chocolate chip water and whipped cream.
Oh no!
Munchie be getting laid. He'd be bringing some work in here.
Hey, she crazy. I my daughters. I would never touch nothing like that. Getting out the water and it's looking like that, bro. That's not sanitary. You couldn't even get in the porn industry, bro. They test every week.
You can't even get your shit
They test every week. It's sick.
Go wipe your ass.
We all have to wipe our ass. All right, yo, Sharice, it was good talking to you.
Stay up, baby.
Keep your head up.
Much love, Sharice. Free Luce.
Yeah, tell
you sound like a fucked up carburetor. Hey, look. Hey,
keep your ass up. I got some peanut butter for you later if you want it.
Man, go get in the bath, bro.
All right, appreciate you.
Bye, baby.
Jesus Christ. That's that chocolate chip water.
I don't know anything about that.
What is that for?
Making fun of her bath water, and she's saying that's that chocolate chip water. I'm like, what?
Is that for health reasons?
No, she put chocolate and whipped cream in the shower. Awesome. Freaky shit?
That's not good.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It had to be a nigga over there.
I'm saying that maybe she was covered in chocolate chip syrup and whipped cream, and then she got in the water afterwards, maybe, is what I'm thinking.
Why would you do that by yourself?
Bro,
that's the only way I can see it, like being like, cool. Like you had a nigga, like he was doing some stuff.
I had that shit on my channel. I had nipples showing all that. They didn't even flag it.
Yo, they can't. Munch just immediately turning up on this. Like, that was so fucking funny.
Let him
he started it.
He started it. We ain't there. You gonna go PC. Oh, it good. Like, you're about to be out of there in a minute.
Oh, Luce?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he said Big U gonna knock him.
All right, man. That's red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angels, so he's free. We are gone. That nigga Munchie B came out yelling out, gang gang. Do you gang bang? That nigga. Now, the chocolate chip peanut butter water is not peanut butter water. Man, the chocolate chip whipped cream water, excuse me, I wasn't trying to be funny. The chocolate chip whipped cream water is absolutely barnacles, my nigga. Like, because she did look pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie, the water looked pretty disgusting. Now I can understand that she was doing her OnlyFans thing, and I'm just trying to think, like, was she covered in whipped cream and chocolate syrup, and then from there went and did her peanut butter thing? I'm sorry, why the fuck do I keep saying that, bro? Was she covered in whipped cream and chocolate syrup, and then from there jumped in the water, and then like did like this whole like chocolate, and then she kept saying like it's chocolate sundae, like that's not appealing. That's not appealing. I'm not feeling that whole like chocolate sundae thing. I don't know. The whole way she presented that situation just was it was a little cringy. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little cringy. It was a little cringy. Just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little cringy. Sharice Mills, you got to do better, baby girl. You got to do better, baby girl. Let's get into the other half of the Soul Wooty Band. And I'll be yelling out, gang gang. Do you gang bang? I be outside with my gang gang. Chunk your gang signs if you gang bang. I be outside with my gang from the deuce. The foe, the big to 8 to 9 from the deuce. The foe, the big to 8 to 9 from the deuce. The foe, the big to 8 to 9 from the deuce. The foe, the big to 8 to 9. What's the deal, y'all? What's the deal, y'all? What's the deal, y'all? We're Sharp Up at CNN Trap News Network. We back in the same, like it, cracking the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Come on, there's good content we got going on here at CNN Trap News Network. Good news, use. Good knowledge, though. You can't get nobody's college, though, big dog. I ain't even finna hold y'all, man. It's a little bit late. I'm trying to get to the busy. So I'm about to throw y'all this quick little content. Munchie B just went off on Sharice Mills. Go and check my last video if you want to see that. Now he's talking about Luce Cannon getting PC'd up. Let's get into this content. Let's go.
You out.
Showing all that. They didn't even flag it.
Yo, they can't. Munch just immediately turning up on this. Like, that was so fucking funny.
Let him
he started it.
He started it. We in there. You gonna go PC. Oh, it good. Like, you're about to be out of there in a minute.
Oh, Luce?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he said big U.
Oh, that's definitely true. I think that Luce Cannon should start going PC up.
Gonna knock him out.
But they're in the same section, apparently, right?
But what's this I heard about people was saying that he was actually in MCJ and he wasn't even in it?
No, MDC.
Yeah, but I heard the people was saying that he was actually in MCJ at one point, like, and it wasn't even just
back then.
Yeah.
I mean, but he didn't have this dumb shit going on with him, or even getting on people's nerves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody know that the dude's not really from where he's from. Okay, I believe in DNA. You know what I'm saying? His dad is a compulsive snitch, bro. His dad's a
That is a compulsive snitch.
hopper at this park, Hoover, wrote the 60s, and he's put people in jail and got them life. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. You said in open court, I didn't do that. My brother did. That's telling.
Did Luce what I wanted?
That is definitely telling.
Did Luce actually grow up in LA or he from the IE?
He's from the IE.
That's the main thing.
He's from the IE, bro.
Anybody who's seen, I was very, very impressed by Traplo Ross's Big U indictment documentary. Extremely well made. Probably the best piece of content I watched while I was on vacation. But I was left feeling like there's definitely some holes in Luce Cannon's story.
Now you just now saying that? It's crazy, Adam. He Luce Cannon locked up. Now you comfortable saying that, Adam? Got it.
Definitely some stuff. God damn, she's calling back, and you know that means he's on the line.
Man,
Sweetie?
Let me just call back. Hold on.
Sweetie!
Hold on.
He said, Sweetie, I gotta talk to you, Sweetie.
What?
I want to know if he wants to do. Was he really with Brick or not? I mean,
Be somebody if you can't see.
Oh, there we go. What you saying? Let's keep it civil. What are you trying to say here?
Yeah,
Words are hard. What are you trying to say here? Adam just spoke to Luce Cannon like he was a slow kid.
Hey, man, they about to talk to some content, man.
He see me, right? But how can he see me?
Who said that?
He didn't say that.
Man, you lying again?
You said
You lying again?
I can't wait till I beat you.
Hey.
He didn't say that.
Didn't you produce for 50 Cent? Hey, bro, he said you produced for 50 Cent. Didn't you produce for 50 Cent? Hold on, didn't you tell Adam you had a song with Drake? He sound like Snoopy Badass. You bringing Drake to Bompton now? Look, didn't you tell Adam you had a song with Drake?
Yep.
Where's the song at? 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 Where is the song? Where's the song? What happened when you pushed up on Meek Mills and then security they just turned their back on you and let you do it?
Sweetie!
What happened? What happened? Hey, what happened when Nip told you to finish what he started? Untalented as fuck though.
Untalented as fuck though.
I want to know, bro, what happened?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nip the Great said, finish what I started, and you have no career, no accolades. What happened? What happened? What happened to you dissing WACK 100 on Cookout, but now you was sucking his dick? What happened? I'm not for I want to know.
Hey, can they do like a, you let him talk and he let you talk?
One mic.
One mic.
What'd you
need to do Munchy ain't it.
No, he's pretty good.
Man, I'm dope, bitch.
No, he's pretty good.
Let him talk and he let you talk.
One mic.
One mic.
What'd you?
You need to do Munchy ain't it.
No, he's pretty good.
Man, I'm dope, bitch. Knock it off.
I'll be home soon.
That's good.
Home soon, bro.
Man, I'll meet you on Aberdeen.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. You can't talk.
I'll meet you on Aberdeen.
Buster, you's a mark.
I'll meet you on Aberdeen.
Shut the fuck
Okay, come on. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you.
I ain't giving you no dick. You ain't waiting on me.
I dare you.
Can't get none.
I dare you.
What?
Oh, my mama, I dare you. Because you can't even find
You
it.
say you sound like a snitch like your husband. Be quiet.
Yo, Sharice.
How you sound?
You sound like a snitch like your husband. Be quiet. Damn it.
I'm alert on Aberdeen. Kick back.
No, your bitch ass is the snitch. Your bitch ass is the one that got fucked in the ass. So
No, I didn't have it. Sharice, I have a question. If Luce Cannon gets 20 years, you gonna hold him down?
Hell no.
Absolutely.
Hell no.
Absolutely.
Real bitch alert.
Hell no.
Nigga, Adam is burnt all the way out, bro.
Real, absolutely.
Hell no. You can't get conjugals in the feds.
You don't have to listen, bro. You with a girl before.
Hey, what that nigga Brick say?
You
ain't even talk,
bro.
This nigga said, he sound like a putty for a pirate.
Do you not hear how you sound? I think you need
shut
to
up.
record
Hey, bro, tell your bitch to shut up, bro.
I really think you need to record yourself.
Oh my God.
Okay, I really do.
Hey, ain't you on Aberdeen right now?
Stop saying that, bro. Just speak.
You can't say nothing about nobody speaks, bro. This nigga crazy.
All right, Sharice, we gave him enough content.
I want to know.
All right, Adam, I love you.
Bro, your middle name is Ashley. You can't even talk to me.
Listen, shut up, bitch. Get off this.
Am I lying?
You
Ashley Cannon.
You don't even supposed to be on the phone with me.
Why not?
You a goofy. You a buttercup.
I'm not supposed to be on the phone with him.
Yo, bitch ass.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Much love.
Damn. Hey, stay dangerous, bro.
Damn, free Luce. This shit crazy.
That was crazy.
I want to know what the deal
weird,
with.
bro.
I wanted to hear him say what the deal with Brick was. Like,
I wanted to ask her
Right.
what was up with that fucking chocolate chip water.
You saw it too?
No, I didn't ever see it. I want to know what that's about because
it was a
yeah. That's what I was trying to get to.
Oh, okay, bath bomb.
Does kind of make
That's
sense.
cap.
Okay,
That ain't no
yeah.
bad bomb, nigga. That shit some dirt, nigga. Nigga, that shit was dirt.
said it looked
nigga.
like
Hey, bro, man, ain't nothing sexy about that bath bomb if that's the case. Why you couldn't make that motherfucker pink or something?
Like, he could be sexier.
I've gone. There was like a store I went to one time that had like all bath bombs.
I think they're called. I think
So
it's
you gonna
called
get some
Lush,
shit
actually.
brown?
Yes,
that look
it
dirty.
is. Yes, it's called. That's a good point. It's called Lush.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
You
crazy.
get custom
Hey,
bath
they
bombs.
hot over there on the phone.
Hey, I tried to shut it down right there.
Hey,
As soon as he started saying something about you, I'm like, we're not going to do this. And then you were like,
but hold on.
okay,
They call it
okay.
Adam all kind of bitches. How much she up there? I ain't mad at you, Adam.
Damn, I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen Adam like cape for someone as much as he did you right there. He was like defending every single thing.
No, I just don't. When people
like-
put that
yeah, I like
allegation
that.
on him, I just don't like it because it's like,
No, I liked it.
Hey, listen. That nigga can't say nothing about some stuttering.
All right, man. We're about to the next one. Y'all know the deal. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest, man. Free Avenue Angel, so he's free. We gone. This right here, boy. Hold on, real quick, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. You don't understand you like I. Munchie Beat's funny as fuck. That bath bomb is chocolate chip. Why would you get a chocolate chip bath bomb? She's dumb. She had a chocolate chip bath bomb. Like, why not like lavender or like eucalyptus? Why would you get a chocolate chip bath bomb? And never make love to you like I do. So tell me, I'll tell you about a real love. I can tell you everything that I do is just to satisfy you. Hold on. All right. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. All of the session, all of the Sean John fashion. What the fuck? There was one more thing I wanted to show y'all, but I don't see it no more. So I think they might have taken the content down. I'm gonna start just screen recording shit, even if I don't watch it. Niggas be taking. I catch a gang of shit that go up, and then niggas take it down, bro. And I'm like, fuck. Let me see something. Crow, what's the deal? I was listening to R. Kelly and Puff Daddy today. They make good music together. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We don't understand you like I do. And never make love to you like I do. So give it to me. And I can show you about a real love. And I can show you everything that I do. It's just to satisfy you. That shit's fire, bro. If you ain't doing nothing, listen to the Puff Daddy greatest hits, Bad Boy greatest hits. You got the R&B greatest hits. You got the rap greatest hits. And you got the collection of the R&B and the rap greatest hits together. It's fire. It's fire. I'm not saying Free Diddy or nothing like that, but a Tory Lanez, P. Diddy, R. Kelly album will be fire. It'd be fire. I'm just saying. Nobody would turn it down. Nobody would turn it down. P. Diddy, R. Kelly, and Tory Lanez. It'd be fire. Just saying. Just saying. Lush is definitely coochie. All right, let's jump back into this. Yep. Do y'all? We're shopping, tapping in the trap. There's no work back in the same, like you're cracking the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Get knowledge, you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, make sure you hit that get subscribe button, man. I ain't finna hold y'all too long. Just go ahead and get into richtraphouse.com. But Munchie B is going crazy. He done went off on Sharice Mills. He done went off on Luce Cannon. Let's see what else Munchie B got going on. Let's get into it. Let's go.
He can't speak, bro. For one, on IG, that bitch is dirty. He said 20 years, not gonna happen. There is no conjugals in no motherfucking feds, and he's gonna snitch if he ain't doing it already. You might as well, because they gonna poke holes in your soul.
I mean,
bro, he did.
They gonna poke holes in your soul.
He did some snitch shit right here. Corroborated a story that's actually true on a crime. That's telling. It's on black and white now. It's documented that's snitching what he did.
Well, yeah,
you admitted to a crime.
Realistically, it will be very and like I'm rooting for him coming home, but it'll be very difficult for him to come home without telling. Like, there's no real way. And like the feds give away.
Yeah, even Lush saying that nigga finna snitch. When you got the J Cat, first of all, look at this nigga. Just let's just take a second to look at this. Just take a second, just to, like saran wrap wrapped around a skeleton, like a worm with a coochie color hoodie on. Anyway, it's clear to see though. It's crazy.
10-year sentences like it's motherfucking
I mean, Lush looks like a flounder. Like, he looks like a fish. Bro looks like a flounder, bro. He looks like a fish. He for sure. He looks like that fish from SpongeBob that's always like this. Like, it's always sideways like this. I think it's like a fucking flounder, bro.
Like rubber bands in science class. They stay, you feel me? Literally, bro. Like, they have no problem giving a 10-piece to somebody. In fact, they don't typically give away sentences much smaller than that.
My optimism about either Brick or Luce getting home in the near future has definitely significantly diminished. You know, it's just not really seeming like that's going to be the case. Now, hopefully it does, but I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a little while.
Once you don't get bond shit.
If you don't get a bail that first time, then what's going to change after the fact? You see fucking Dirk and Youngboy putting up houses and millions of dollars and full-time security guarantees and all this kind of shit. I mean, realistically, that's not really something they're in the position to do. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Hey, can y'all hear that the girl ain't mentally there?
Well, that was pretty. That was funny when you said that she was gonna get deported.
But is she? She's not a citizen.
No, I don't know about that.
But she's from Trinidad. I don't know if she's a citizen, but like, when I hear her to say "nigga," she don't even.
Yeah, she don't sound right
like
saying it.
Came over here yesterday.
She's an island gal.
I was just in Turks saying that a lot. I was telling everybody they were island boys.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of love out.
You and Turks telling all them niggas that they island boys. All right.
I was pretty tight.
Were you recognized quite a bit, or?
Bro, I fucking walk off the plane and get into this room with like 400 people waiting in the tiniest, like for 2 people checking people through, and I'm just thinking like, God damn, we're gonna be standing here for like 2 hours to get through customs, and some fucking girl just comes right out to me, Adam 22, just fucking rushed us right through that thing.
Well, that's
I've never been so happy to be well known. Talk about the low quality of the content being released while Adam is away on vacation and how out of control the No Jumper staff is while Massa is off the plantation.
All right, man, we about to the next one. Y'all know the deal. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angel Tweets free. We are gone. All right. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'm emailing somebody back and forth trying to get this content for y'all. All right, man. I'm trying to get this shit, man. Got put on 8th grade outside in the prize. You ain't got a gun. You better look alive. From the deuce, the foe, the big set 8th and 9 from the deuce, the foe, the big set 8th and 9 from the deuce, the foe. All right. They might not be able to find it either because I think that we all missed it. It was a cool piece of little content, but whatever. Whatever. That's all, Roy. So somebody might have had something y'all could have seen from somebody's court hearings recently. So that nigga, he should just send it to me. But nah, niggas want to send it to the ops first.
We always have to and I'm just thinking like, God damn, we're gonna be standing here for like 2 hours to get through customs.
Reese Mills, he done went off on Luce Cannon. That like he looks like a fish.
Rubber bands in science class, they stay.
All right, forget it. Let's go back to what we was doing. I'm gonna try to find it on my own time, y'all. Nello Vision, what's the deal?
Is right there. I will.
All right. I'm gonna give y'all one more. Then I'm gonna take it to Busy. That's on Roy. What's the deal, y'all? We're Sharper Type of TNN Trap News Network. Back in the same. Like good cracking the same. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Yes, that's TNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Logito, you ain't finna get nobody's Logito, big dog. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that news you can use. That good knowledge you ain't finna get about that good Logito, big dog. Get that Contiana in, get that Contiana in, get that Contiana in, man. Last one for the night. You got Adam22 going off on the No Jumper side for making trash content while he was in his vacation. He was on a vacation, all that kind of stuff, man. That's what happens when you leave a dope fiend and slow kid in charge of the company. And that just goes to show that, yeah. So let's get into the content on further do's and don'ts. Let's get into it. Let's go.
And I'm just thinking, like, God damn, I've been so happy to be well known to mine. Like, what about the low quality of the content? I'm happy to now be completely back in the bullshit. But that being said, I want to just finish going through these. Synthwave sent $20 and said, talk about the low quality of the content being released while Adam is away on vacation and how out of control the No Jumper staff is while Massa is off the plantation. First, about the low quality of
Massa is off the plantation is wild. Is absolutely wild. That's a barnacle statement.
The content being released while Adam is away on vacation and how out of control the No Jumper staff is while Massa is off the plantation. First, I would like to rebuke the slavery reference that you just used right there. I will say that watching WACK podcast without me is like, it's just like, I now understand why I am such an essential role in that.
WACK is trash because WACK is trash. He's garbage. He's garbage. He's garbage.
Because he was asking Aunt Hefe questions and then just like going on like a 30-minute rant before he even let Aunt begin to answer it. Like he just needs someone to keep him on track. And it's like when I watch the podcast that he did without me, it's like, oh, I completely understand why I am so essential to this dynamic. So because when
WACK needs a responsible adult because he's trash at life.
Doesn't have anybody like reining him in and like basically trying to keep him on topic. He's good at the fact that he can just talk for hours and hours and hours, but he just like doesn't choose like a topic to talk about almost at all.
I mean, like, to be fair, okay, I didn't even know I was gonna do that until about like an hour beforehand.
Because, and you were really wearing your clothes backwards, huh?
Yeah, like I'm on my fly shit. I'm the fuck?
No, you look stupid. You look dumb. Look the way bro looked at him when he said he on fly shit. Look at his face.
To be fair, okay.
Look at bro turn his head as soon as he says it.
I didn't even know I was gonna do that until about like an hour beforehand.
Because, and you were really wearing your clothes backwards, huh?
Yeah, like I'm on my fly shit. I'm the fuck is he talking?
He looked at him and said, "Oh, okay, that's what you do."
He's like, "Hell yeah, I'm totally crossed out." I love that you just like take like a hip hop group from like 1991, and you're just like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna like kind of dress like they were dressing." Yeah, that's there was another group who wore the clothes backwards too, wasn't it? Another Bad Creation, didn't they do it?
The ABC was doing that too, but
you trying to be the St. Looney Six nigga? You think you Nelly?
No, it's for sure a crisscross thing, but like you didn't see like Cardi doing that 2 months ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're grown. You're like old enough to be Cardi's dad, and you want to be Playboy Cardi. Got it. Cool.
Shit.
But that's not totally not
Fly God.
Totally not copying Cardi or anything.
So what you saying? You said you didn't know you was about to do what though?
I didn't even know I was going to be hosting that show that day with WACK.
Well, weren't you talking about it for like a week beforehand?
Nah, not that one. That was a different one. That FLAKKO was supposed to do that, but FLAKKO was scared of WACK, so he didn't want to do the podcast. He's like, "Lush, you do it." It was you could literally see it.
Did we talk about the fact that apparently Luce Cannon told FLAKKO that WACK was planning to kill him?
That's what he's been so scared of this whole time.
And so that's why FLAKKO was acting weird about being on camera with WACK, is because allegedly Luce told him that WACK was going to kill him. I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, did he really say that? Like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I'm a kill FLAKKO, nephew. Yeah. And I don't know.
That's some big shit.
Yeah, but here's the fucked up part is I've basically had no time to prepare and organize that. And if you look, a lot of people are like, damn, Lush did a good ass job with WACK holding it down.
You were glazing WACK super hard.
Man, mouthful of meat. Bro gonna wear a thong too, just like Cardi on God. Man, Lush had his nose in WACK's belly button.
Oh no!
Like okay, I watched like an hour of that first episode that I was away for, and it's like Aunt Hefe is trying to have a conversation about the fact that WACK said that Big U was more of a Crip legend than Monster Cody.
That's not what the debate was.
It turned into like 50 minutes of just nothing. Like it's just so difficult for people to stay on topic and be concise in any way. And for me, as a person who really
Adam pissed. Adam is not happy.
Like cares about podcasting, I was just so like, that is a good topic, but also like, why is it taking this long to get through this topic? And also like, this is just unlistenable for most people from my perspective.
I didn't hear, but it sounded like there's probably a lot of deflecting going on. That's why it took so long.
WACK was a Big U glazer, a professional glazer for a period of time. So I'm sure, I don't know, like the Monster Cody thing. Apparently he smoked crack, whatever. Like I felt like everybody was smoking crack back then. But
basically, like Monster Cody, Crip Legend came home way before Big U. And so the thing that WACK was saying originally was that Monster Cody blew his shot and Big U was way more successful when he came home than Monster Cody.
He said he because he did a certain drug that disqualified him in his ranking amongst Crips, and that ain't true because most niggas, big homies, either sold drugs or did it in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they'll beat you up on crack.
Yeah, that's not like a disqualifying factor.
No.
Like, oh, you used to smoke crack? Fucking everybody used to smoke crack in the 80s.
And what you judging by? Because Monster Cody, his book it wasn't no capping in that book.
Right.
And that book is really crazy when you think of
a really good book. It's a really good book.
About it, because him having a book out about gangbanging at that time basically gave him like a monopoly on spreading information about gangs, because there was just like so few other ways that people were learning about gangs at that time. Like you had music, you had MWA and shit, but it's like you just didn't have somebody who had written like a full testimony about what that lifestyle was all about.
Did cap a little bit in that book.
No,
he's not
the
like
people that he's banging against, they vouching for the only thing they say is questionable is the decapitated Orn.
Yeah.
No, he said something about he was in I think it was LP and the Power Rules said like all the Power Rules say ho, some shit like that.
Say what?
It was some shit.
He was outnumbered. Like,
yeah, I was like, I don't know no Power Rules gonna be saying that shit like that.
I gotta revisit it.
Yeah, should we do a book club? We all read.
I remember that. I don't remember that part of the book.
I read that book like a billion times.
I read it when I was probably like 11.
I hadn't read it in a long time though. Like
yeah, I ain't read it in a long time, but that's the part I remember. I was like,
of course, that's gonna stand out to you.
Yeah, I was like, what blood? Power Rules.
He said, "Oh,
yeah." He wouldn't have been whoop or something. You feel me?
I don't know. I was like, I ain't saying he was capping through the whole book, but it was certain parts that I seen. I was like, I don't know. He probably just exaggerated.
We'll touch on that part later, I guess, after, because I don't remember that one.
For sure. And Synthwave, shout out to him for gifting 5 subs as well. Massively appreciate that. And then P Blackwell said, Stona fam. Appreciate you, G. All the blood love on here. We really appreciate it. Travis Adolphus also became a member. Shout out to him. And then, okay, fuck. I hate when it just skips down like that. Okay. King Miles basically said that Scrim of Suicide Boys just dropped the best album of the day.
All right, man. We about to the next one. Y'all know the deal. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angel tweets free. We go. Let's see.
Kid and no one wants to talk about it. I do need to check that out.
You're definitely right about that second part of your sentence right there.
What? No one wants to talk about it. I haven't heard anything, but I got to check it out because obviously the Suicide Boys are fucking gigantic. PPO Ho said Kanye talks about this same cousin in the song Family Business on College Dropout. Look up the lyrics to the first verse. That is a very good idea. We should do that.
Great song.
Yeah, I know. I love that song. I didn't know. He talked about it.
That's a real fan. That's a Kanye fan.
For real. Alcoholic Gamer said, Adam, that King Pill interview was fire. He really got the numbers going. Heard he put J Hood in his place yesterday on live. Got to bring him back up there. Good content. I did not know that, but that's very interesting.
I'm pissed off that Alcoholic Gamer didn't give us a drink recommendation right now. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, that hurts.
He's slipping, guy.
Yeah, fuck you, bro. Okay, and then Talking Trash Podcast said, shout out Munchie B. Can't trust a torta. Dirty bath.
Let's go, Raider.
Lush and Adam, let's run the worst pod ever again. Ha ha. I do feel like, okay, because I want to do an 8-hour podcast one day. And I feel like that would be a good time for us to reintroduce Compa and give him a little bit of a slice of that. So I don't know when we're going to do that, but I do feel like I want to do that at some point.
I know you were talking. I know we're probably going to touch on it later. The break stream.
We were definitely going to talk about that. Shitty. Welcome to No Jumper members only. Shitty, free shitty. But this guy's also a shitty. And then JJ said, Munchie, a hating loser. He want to be loose so bad.
What the fuck?
Out of here.
I'm free, bro.
Okay, BMX 1803.
Oh, that's
wild.
BMX again?
No, but the BMX said, man, I love Munchie and Stony. They're going to call you Stony as a nickname. That's cute.
BMX just talked shit a couple donations ago.
He
doesn't really
now
hate.
he love Munchie and Stony?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't. Stoney's.
Hey, didn't he just call us two crippled bloods or something?
Isn't Stoney from Set It Off though? We can't do that.
Yeah, that's a girl.
It's a couple of Stonys.
But then Big 60 1017 also became a member. Shout out to him. All right, I think that we should gift another 50 subs, and I think we should go members only for the chat from now on. So to anybody who is helping keep the No Jumper show, the No Jumper channel going as a result of becoming a member, we massively appreciate you guys. $5 a month to get early access to all of the interviews before they drop. You don't have to watch it clip by clip. You can watch the whole thing right when it comes out. Participate in the live chat, get your name in green, get a cool icon next to your name. We changed it so it's not the 22 anymore. Now you got the basketball next to your name. Okay, that being said, the Adam 22 channel, I'm resurrecting it. I'm working on some videos for the channel. Got a couple of them in the works. Got a Brian Pumper video in the works in particular. And today I put out a video. You can get the link if you want from my Instagram story, or just search Adam22 on YouTube and then I guess select like channels and you might be able to find it. Either way, I put out a video about the Brick Baby situation. There was some stuff that he said on stream, or not on stream, but on a jail call to his girl while I was away. I addressed it in the video, and I guess I'm bringing it to the table right now so we can kind of have a conversation about it. What was you guys' thoughts on this piece that I put out?
Well, my first thought was that I understood what you were saying when your confusion was like, damn, when I talk to you on the phone, where's this energy?
Right.
And then the next day you have to hear about it through third parties and publicly. I can understand your frustration there. And I think Brick is probably just in a feeling kind of desperate, you know what I mean? Like his back's against the wall. The amount of money it costs to fight cases of this magnitude are fucking crazy. And, you know, he's got what?
Let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys truly, genuinely in your hearts feel about the whole Brick Baby and Adam 22 situation? What do you guys really think about how the situation is playing out? What do you guys really think about like how the situation is going? What do you guys really think about the situation just in totality as a whole? Because I'm almost going to say that it's for content. You know what I'm saying? Because with these niggas, who really knows? So what do y'all really think? Hold on real quick. Hold on. All right, so I'll probably be able to get this content tomorrow from what it's looking like. But it was from somebody's court date, man. I don't want to tell y'all too much without the content because there's no point in telling y'all about it without the content. So we're going to see. I might just be able to give y'all some more exclusives tomorrow, man. I'm trying to keep y'all updated, though. You feel me? You feel me? All right. Let me see something. All right, I'm gonna give y'all one more. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Boom.
I put out a video about
What am I doing? All right. Yo, y'all, shout out to the TNN Trap News Network, back in the same, like you're cracking the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge, you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you tap in with that tap in for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge you ain't finna get nobody's college, man. RichTrapHouse.com. Get into that, but we ain't finna hold y'all. We finna jump right into Adam 22 Fire and Brick Baby. Let's get into this. Let's go.
About the Brick Baby situation. There was some stuff that he said on stream, or not on stream, but on a jail call to his girl while I was away. I addressed it in the video, and I guess I'm bringing it to the table right now so we can kind of have a conversation about it. What was you guys' thoughts on this piece that I put out?
Well, my first thought was that I understood what you were saying when your confusion was like, damn, when I talk to you on the phone, where's this energy?
Right.
And then the next day you have to hear about it through third parties and publicly. I can understand your frustration there. And I think Brick is probably just in a feeling kind of desperate, you know what I mean? Like his back's against the wall. The amount of money it costs to fight cases of this magnitude are fucking crazy. And, you know, he's got what, 5 kids? Like more? Four kids.
Okay.
He take care of more than that, though. He has like a lot of people he take care of. So, you know, the financial thing is probably really stressful. I feel bad that I can't do more for him. I already have I put about $100 a month to the side for my partners in jail, for Lil C, for Norm, for Ronnie. It's not that much, you feel me? But it's what I can afford. So on my next paycheck, I'm gonna shoot Brick another note.
So you be talking crazy about niggas, and all you can afford to send your homie in jail is $100. But you got the nerve to talk about anybody's financial situation. You could barely afford to feed yourself, let alone feed the homies, and you got. Okay.
That's what I can do. I wish I could have more money for him.
For sure. And definitely, I think Friday we're going to do a music stream / whatever stream, just talking and stuff. And we're going to basically give that money to Brick. And we're also plotting on some t-shirts, some free Brick Baby t-shirts, so that we can raise some more money for him in that regard. I guess basically, like, I was trying to prompt a conversation with that video about the fact that, you know, I feel like I'm in kind of a weird spot because of the fact that, you know, he got locked up. There was already a sizable debt. I had let him borrow a pretty significant amount of money from my perspective. And it's like, you know, I know that he looks at me as somebody who's got his life together and have done fairly well for myself over the years. But the truth is that No Jumper, in kind of a tricky spot. Obviously, we did the whole going broke narrative, had that whole conversation a couple of weeks ago and everything. But, you know, it's a weird spot to be in because I wish that I could fully support him and that I could kind of make these problems go away. I wish I could just cop the boy a lot.
See, here's the other thing, too. Brick Baby already owe Adam like 8 bands. How much more debt do you really want Adam to get into?
Lawyer, that would be amazing. But realistically, there's only so much that I could do. And it's like we went weeks where he didn't ask me for anything. So this is kind of like all just sort of like come about over the course of like the last week. I felt like he wasn't asking me because I had just let him borrow more money like right before he got locked up. So I know he probably like didn't really want to ask me for it, but it's like from my perspective, there's got to be a limit on how much I'm really expected to do for somebody who does podcasts on the channel, in particular because of the fact, I don't think I mentioned this in the video, but it's like Brick's case doesn't have anything to do with me. You know, it's like, it's not, he didn't catch the case because of anything he did on camera. Even the stuff that did happen on camera that makes his case a little bit worse, like the fact that they pointed out that he had a gun in his waistline on his last time on the podcast right before they arrested him. Like, I didn't know that. I never had a conversation with him about if he was bringing a strap to work or anything like that. But it's not like he got locked up defending me or defending the business or something. Maybe that situation would be a little bit different. You know, this was purely stuff that realistically, like almost everything that he's in trouble for is stuff that happened even before he started working at No Jumper.
Do you think that if he didn't have the $8,000 or so debt to you previous to this incarceration?
You put the dollar amount out there?
I did. I put it in the video. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not, he said that he had.
I think me and Stoney is getting up to speed.
Okay, so in the original, when Brick got locked up, I guess it was around the time he was first coming over here.
Yeah, it was within like the first month or two that he was doing podcasts on the channel that he basically got the feds running up in his crib. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got busted then, and Adam shot him 5 bands, and then I guess recently you shot him another few bands. So if he didn't already have that balance, would you think it would be a different situation?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I would probably.
It's hard to loan money to somebody who already owes you money. That is what I will say. It is really hard to loan money to somebody who owes money.
Would be like more forthcoming in terms of trying to make shit easier on them and everything like that. It's just like when somebody already has a pretty sizable debt to me, it's like I'm just not the kind of person who's just gonna act like $5,000 is not a lot. $5,000 to me is still a shitload, regardless of whatever I got going on. You know.
Well, especially it's got to be kind of weird when you have this relationship. Is in order to have chemistry on a podcast, there has to be a level of friendship. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you have this employer-employee relationship. So it's like,
and forever, it's always unbelievably tricky when you have somebody who's working for you and then you start to become friends, because there's like a certain way that you would like to be able to act for your friends, and then there's a certain way that you consider it appropriate to act with somebody who works for me. You know, and so that's kind of like a tricky balance. And I see a lot of people in the comments who clearly don't understand that is kind of a precarious balance, because like, you know, people will be looking at it and be like, oh, to Adam, everything is just business. And it's like, well, this is someone who works for the brand. So it's like, yeah, it is kind of business. And at a certain point, it's like, I have to move accordingly, right?
I mean, I'll say this. I've been in so many dire financial situations since I started working here, and I've never once asked No Jumper.
Why does everybody who worked there need to borrow money? Y'all not getting no chili up there? Seems like anytime anybody who works there has a real problem, they got to go ask Adam for money. Y'all not getting no money up there? It's hard up there. It's crazy.
You or anybody affiliated with No Jumper for money in any capacity. Just because, like, I feel like it will fuck up potentially the dynamics and the relationships over here if I did that. You know what I mean?
And especially when there's never even a discussion or any kind of like consideration about paying it back, which is obviously the case in this situation. Like, I don't mean to like rub it in or act like it's
so they know like, oh, I got you on the first time shit.
Nah. And to be fair, I never brought it up, and if I had, then, you know, maybe he would have like tried to.
But when you owe somebody money, they ain't supposed to come looking for it. You're supposed to pay it back. You know
That's right.
But have you ever been broke and had a rich friend?
Never pretty much no to both of those. I never really had a rich friend like prior to all the No Jumper stuff. I never really had a friend who had more money than me that I was like real friends with, you know? Like I always kind of was like,
and nigga Adam said I used to be in top dog around this bitch.
The guy who had like a little bit of money, and then all my friends were broke.
I've been broke with rich friends.
Just to be totally real. Like even the BMX days, I kind of always had more money than like pretty much everybody that I was hanging out with, even though at that time, like me having money was like, oh, I had like 10 grand in the bank. You know, it wasn't like I was like killing it or anything.
I think Brett kind of looking like I'm good as long as I got my boy, my friend that's up some M's, I'm gonna be forever straight, and that's probably his mindset. But he shouldn't be thinking like that. And then if you do, you should keep your credit clean. Like, man, pay it back. You know what I'm saying? So then you can always
go back and
you can always double back because they know you good for it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but the other thing is like the reason why I never said like, yo, can you pay me back on this type of schedule or whatever is because my assumption about how he would go get some money is not really like something that I wanted to like encourage him to do.
Might be a liability.
This is a guy who has been, you know, in the streets for a percentage of his life, pretty much the whole life until recently, I guess. And, you know, I didn't want to like be like, yo, like you got to go do this so that you could help me out. I just figured he would pay it back if he got the chance or whatever. So like, I don't know. I made that video today just to try to like explain that shit to the world. And then in particular, it just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way seeing him say things on a jail call that was so different than the tone that we were dealing with on camera or on the phone when it was just me and him. And then in addition, for Sharp to be making videos and making it like he's got inside information from talking to Brick, that really pissed me off. Because especially like if me and you are homies, why is someone like Sharp, who is a bottom-dwelling piece of dog shit, why is he coming out with exclusive information that, you know, yeah, part of me thinks like maybe Sharp was just saying that, but then part of me also is like Sharp swearing up and down in the video that he's like, I don't think, I know. You know, when he's making it 100% clear that he knows for a fact that this is how the situation is between me and Brick, I got to take that a certain way. And if this is really your boy and he's saying that and it's not coming from you, then you should probably have something to say about that.
I think you hear one thing though, Adam, how many times has WACK said things that allegedly ain't coming from you and you ain't have nothing to say about it, bro?
A lot of people's like rebuttal or question that they would have for you in this moment isn't No Jumper kind of like capitalizing, or people think that No Jumper's making a lot of money off of Brick still? And like this, so he deserves compensation from his name being just so prominently featured.
One thing number one, we're going to talk about what's in the news no matter what. That's just what this business is. So it's like, you know, if Brick's in the news, we're going to talk about Brick. If it wasn't Brick, if T-Rail got a fucking murder case tomorrow, then yeah, we're going to make money off talking about T-Rail, you know, but.
Or Yuri even for that instance.
Or Yuri, yeah. Fingers crossed that somebody wipes him off the face of the earth. But that being said, I actually feel like, you know, probably the Brick experiment was not really, I feel like we were probably in the red up until this time period. So like, if anything, us having so many conversations about this on camera was probably like the thing that maybe like bumped it over into the black. But then also like understand that there's a lot of stank on the brand right now. And as illogical as it is from my perspective, there's a lot of people that are not really excited to be on the No Jumper platform because they are kind of looking at it like a Fed adjacent podcast at this point. I've heard this from quite a few people that have been trying to like get us interviews and stuff like that. And from my perspective, this really doesn't make any sense at all because nothing that happened on this podcast has anything to do with why these people are locked up. Now, the fact that they didn't get bail definitely is partially related to it. But, you know, I mean, to be fair, like it's just, we may have had like a brief bump in views as a result of the RICO, but I also feel like the amount of interviews that we have not gotten to be able to do as a result of this RICO is
because you niggas is hot.
Also pretty significant. And I'm not holding that against him because that's not really like directly his fault or whatever, but there, you know, anytime something weird happens, like in the No Jumper brawl, the infamous Luce Cannon No Jumper brawl, that definitely is an example as well. Like there was definitely people who did not want to come on the platform as a result of the fact that they saw this vicious beating take place at No Jumper, you know? So, but did we get a temporary burst of views from talking about that fight? Yeah, sure. But it probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that in retrospect,
you know, so, but did we get a temporary burst of views from talking about that fight? Yeah, sure. But it probably wasn't really worth it in the long run.
Do you think that in retrospect, it might have been a good idea? Like when he initially got bailed or borrowed that money, that you guys made an arrangement at that moment, like, hey, we're gonna take 10% of every paycheck until this is paid back? Or
that is a good idea. That is the kind of thing that if I was a little bit more business savvy, maybe I would have done.
Loan department.
But honestly, that's the only time that somebody who was like a host, like AD, never tried that with me. House phone. While he was at No Jumper, I don't think he ever did that. You know, I have helped him out like at other times financially and stuff, but it was never like that kind of thing. I mean, I never really had somebody who was trying to like do that sort of move with me of like trying to get me to pay for a bunch of stuff, you know. So I don't know.
So he up to 8 bands right now.
Yeah. I'll be real with you. It's not like I'm like thinking that I'm one day I'm gonna get that 8 bands. I have written it off. He can.
I would assume that you didn't, whatever, but yeah, you feel me?
Have that, or I think it was 7 actually for the record.
He would have been working it off if it was me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would have said, well, you ain't gonna be getting paid for a minute here.
Just trying to chase some 8 bands.
You already got paid up front. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, people will like take advantage of you as much as they can up until the point, like if they feel like they're able to, they'll just do it. You know, I've seen that a million times. And so for sure, part of it is me just being kind of lax, which is in general on No Jumper. Like, why have so many people been like, why are people able to, swear and smoke and drink and get into all these crazy stuff? Like at the time, remember when like Brick and DW had like their own podcast and it was just like a total shit show every night?
They
each have their own. There's 2 different podcasts.
Yeah, and they were getting money off girls to come advertise their wigs at one point. I mean, that is a direct product of the fact that I just gave them way too long of a leash and was just not instituting any degree of control over it. It's like if you make it that easy for somebody to make money off your platform without cutting you in or whatever, then they're just going to do it. You just have to expect that. So I've kind of like learned that in business is that it almost doesn't count as somebody scamming you if you make it so easy for them to scam you that
you just gave it to them.
Feel like there's no possibility of a repercussion.
All right, man. We up out here. Y'all know the deal, though. Red dots to the left. Y'all know the rest. And it's free Avenue Angel till he's free. We gone. Chat, y'all be safe. Y'all have a good night, man. I'm done for the night. I'm finna go eat me some frosted flakes, smoke me a blunt, and I'm done. We up out of here, man. Free Avenue Angel till he's free. We gone.